I assume we're live. I didn't see a transition at all. But what up, Tuesday Painter crew? How y'all doing? Thanks for the sub, Evan. 38 months. God diggity damn.
Right.
Insanity indeed. I lost my chat window again.
I'll fix it in a second.
Okay.
We also had Dark Tiger 26 subscribed with Prime. OSW Zenkiki subscribed with Prime 9 months in a row. And Pansy Bear subscribed like right when we went live, 15 months.
Nice. Also, Exigent Midnight. Thank you guys for the subs. Really appreciate it, guys.
And Zerkist. 28 months.
Yeah, these are all names that are very familiar. Been on for a long time. The Slurp has brought the stream to life. We're finishing up Balon Greyjoy today, and then probably starting on some other A Song of Ice and Fire stuff, unsurprisingly. To mix it up a little bit, we got some mail time to start us off here.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I got sent the very fancy Chimera brushes, and I'm allowed to talk about them. I got express permission. They're coming out with a set of brushes that...
I threw up the paint cam so you can show off the tips.
Let me pull some out here. So this is a size 2. It is a chisel shape brush.
Oh.
It's fatter in one orientation than in the other. And then the size 0 is the same but smaller. But then in size 1, we get into the round world. And let's just let's do a quick comparison to something that we understand. Raphael, Series 35. Oh, no, this is Da Vinci. Okay, this is the.
Don't believe the ball Earth lie. Round world. That's what we live on. Round world.
Round world. So this was size 1. This is size 1. So here's a size 1 and 2 brands. The right one is Da Vinci Series 35. So a little bit less bristles, not much less, but a little bit less, and a little bit shorter as well. Let me give it the old lick as well. Same thing I did to the other brush. So yeah, a little bit smaller than the brush sizes that I like. And then the rest are also rounds, but just smaller. So these are the brushes I'll be using today, just to try them out.
Cool.
I was gonna do a sponsored video for Chimera pending what I thought of these brushes. I am a little bit confused about the chisel shape. Just Seppuku, Instagram said you're painting minis? Ugh, unsubbed. What up? Thanks for the sub. Round Earthers Unite.
Also, Bougie 1442.
Hey.
1 year spending Daddy Basis' money.
Nice. How we doing, Seppuku? We're doing great. Those look real good in a coffin. Hell yeah, dude. So yeah, I'm gonna start with the chisel brush. The thing that is confusing to me is that they told me they were developing brushes for miniature painting. And I was like, okay, that's cool. What does that mean to you, Chimera? And they went into describing the changes they made to a typical artist's grade watercolor brush, which I'm not gonna get into too much of that. Because again, I don't know what I can say, what I can't say. Like there's nothing's formal with small mini painting companies. They kind of just like throw shit over the wall and like.
They're like, yeah, it's cool, man.
Yeah, so I don't want to say too much, but what they expressed about brushes that currently exist and how they've changed them, based on that conversation, a chisel-shaped brush does not make sense. So I'm going to talk to them about that, just to see what the deal is. But for now, I'll just try it out. I've never painted with the chisel-shaped brush. I don't even know what's going to happen. What I'm guessing,
that chisel shape might let you get that side approach to eyes better as someone who hates painting eyes.
Sure. Yeah, that's possible. One thing I want to illustrate about the brush is that if you paint in this orientation with the fatty edge facing the camera,
fatty,
it's harder for you to bend these bristles because there's more of them in this orientation. So it's more likely to stay straight. Whereas if you rotate it this way, it's much easier to bend and get a round shape with your bristles. How much of that is really going to affect the actual painting, I don't know, but it's worth considering. But let's try it out and see what happens. I got much left on Balon, but knowing me, I'm just going to spend forever painting it, so we'll see what happens. Gotta paint the
Positioning.
hands. Gotta paint the hands. Here's the face. I worked on the face a little bit more, and he's got the biggest pout now ever.
Yeah, you did that right after the end of the last stream, right?
Yeah, it's definitely better than it was though. So
I mean, I like it. It just looks like he's real sad about like, oh, that ship just sank.
yeah,
I can't believe that just happened.
yeah, yeah, that ship. Yeah. Summon lesser maker. Thanks for the Prime sub. 9 months indeed, sir. Eon's Battle J says, I think I might like a chisel tip. I like a hard ass brush. I also like a harder, stiffer brush with a little bit more spring. But I don't like it at the expense of control. And that's what I'm mostly concerned with a thicker chisel brush. But we'll see what actually happens. Okay, Evan didn't bring his Procryl paints, but we kind of figured out everything about Procryl, at least at a very shallow level. So we're just gonna finish up this guy with the paints we have here now.
Chubbs wants to know, how did you feel about the Procryl last stream?
You know, I definitely felt more positively about the brand. I kind of felt like before they were like a little underperforming for me, but now they perform at the same level as all the paints that I regularly use. The question just becomes like, why would I use them over some other brand? And the biggest reason that I can figure out for that is that they have a more of a satin finish than the brands that I currently use, which is definitely something that I want, but it's not that satin, you know, it's not that much different than Scale 75 or AK Interactive. Like if it was as satin as GW, like I would in a heartbeat replace every GW paint that I own with this stuff, but it's not. It's kind of like just a little bit more satin. It's like not different enough to be worth subbing out anything that I currently use.
Yeah, I'd still describe it as a matte paint, but it's not like turbo matte.
Yeah, not turbo matte. That's a good way of putting it, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. It's just not like world shatteringly different.
Turbo acryl. That's the next range.
Turbo acryl. All right, cool. Oh God, don't pull off that. Okay, let's do these hands. Let's do his hair. Got some things to fix up with the teal. Yeah, let's get started. What brand are we saying is satin? I think Procryl is a little satin. It's more satin than AK Interactive or Scale 75, but it isn't as satin as like GW. GW is like the most satin brand, even verging on glossy, that I've ever had to deal with. I used a chisel brush a couple days ago to paint the long flowing parchment on my Sororitas Hospitaler model. I see it as a hybrid between a flat and a pointed. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Isn't Scale 75 Fantasy supposed to be satin? It is indeed. I haven't really figured out what the point of that line is. It's more fluid. It's more, it's a little more translucent in my experience. I don't know if it's supposed to be advertised that way. And it's a little bit more satin. And also the range itself has just more vibrant colors in it. The Scale model line or Scale color line, that doesn't have as vibrant of colors in it as the Fantasy line does. So more saturation, a little bit more satin. It's meant for wargaming, whereas the other one is meant for, display models.
And obviously, you can't use wargaming paint on display models or display model paint on wargaming models.
Not allowed.
Yeah, if you do that, you will get banned from conventions. Also, Alamo6 gifting a sub.
Thank you, Alamo6. Appreciate it. All right. Let's try out this chisel brush. Had a good time hanging out with Ollie, having him show me the ropes to Blood Bowl again. Some good fun.
It was a great stream.
I guess when you play with only Chimera, AK, and Scale 75, I can see describing Procryl as satin. compared to other hobby brands, feels pretty darn matte. Yeah, everything's on a spectrum, right?
Yeah, it's more matte than standard Vallejo model color, and it's more matte than Army Painter, and it's more matte than most Reaper paints. Reaper kind of varies, but Reaper also has like the biggest paint range out of anybody.
You think Reaper's bigger than Vallejo?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, Reaper has a absolutely wild amount of paints. The thing is that like it goes in phases and sets and stuff. I guess I don't know how many different paints they actually have because they might just be renaming existing ones.
I'm happy. I am happy when I used up my scale to 5. I hate the gel medium, but the paint dries so nice and matte. Holy cow, you used up an entire paint range? Yeah, I kind of felt a similar way. All right, so a brush needs to like hold a tip. That's like its basic requirement. So that's the first thing we're going to be looking for with this brush is, am I getting little bristles that are just kind of twanging out for no reason, which I'm getting one right now, but like whatever. I'm not like super concerned about that. I can like rotate the brush so that that bristle is like on the other side, which you can't really see it right now. And not going to be like impacting the things that I'm trying to paint up against, like this little blue or teal shawl, cape, jacket thing. If it happens a ton though, then it becomes more of a problem. Kira is apparently a fan of horror movies though, and she hadn't seen Hereditary yet, and so she asked if we could watch that, and we watched that the last night they were here.
I've never seen Hereditary. Good?
Yeah, it's really good.
Azathoth says, did she love it as much as I do?
Yeah, I think they liked it a lot. It's kind of hard to tell because it is more of like an art house horror movie. But I think it's a lot of movies that don't know how to maintain interest if they are like a slow burn movie. They're not super good at that. But I think that Hereditary is masterful at maintaining your interest while also just slowly increasing the level of dread until like a great climax right at the end of the movie. It's good. Not a lot of movies do that very well. Superstition is a great movie. Never heard of that one.
I went and watched Tucker and Dale versus Evil at my sister's house again.
Nice.
Love that movie.
I haven't seen that movie. Trying to convince Amber to watch it.
Yeah, I'm now actively in that camp as well. Amber would like it, I think. It's a lot of fun.
Would you describe Casino Royale as a slow burn movie? It's been a minute since I've seen that movie, so I can't say for certain, but I don't know, maybe not too much, but I can't remember. I haven't seen it in a while. All right, so let's try to paint some highlights, and we'll do it with a different brush this time because it's a little bit more challenging to do this with a chisel brush than it would be with a normal one. Take some of our pastel blue from AK and mix it with our black here to get a nice gray that's a little bit colder. Everything on my gray joint manus is pretty cold. And actually, you know what? Right now, we'll just start by ignoring all of the normal volumes that is in his sausage hair. And we'll just paint with this gray paint like he has no sculpted hair. And then once we've kind of gotten the colors in the right spot, then we'll start to come in with a corrective recess shade and all this stuff. Maybe even a wash. Try to do some wet blending too. cool. Anybody doing Renegade Open in November? Evan, weren't you looking to do that?
I was thinking about it, but then the main AOS event is full, so it's only teams, and they don't allow 3D printed minis.
Wow, okay.
So I became substantially less interested.
Did that make you regret the 3D printing choice?
No.
How common is that for AOS to not allow 3D printed models for tournaments?
I think it's probably pretty common. I know that Adepticon doesn't allow it, or at least those policies seem so weird in that they often leave caveats, you know, where it's like you can augment your minis with 3D printing. And it's like, well, what does that mean? How much of the mini has to be a GW product? Can I just put like a GW sword on the guy's hand? Toilet Toads, I think that their policy is not as hard and fast as I'm making it sound, which is to say, they said, if the mini is available, we generally don't allow 3D printed miniatures. And I'm like, okay, I read that as a ban, but I know that when I was walking through there last year, I saw some minis that definitely did not look like official GW sculpts. Whether they were heavily converted or full 3D prints, I can't say, but I definitely saw some stuff that is not AOS. I do have one 3D printed dragon for my army. It is a print from Gamac. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it. I'll post a link in chat in a second here. They have a range of Spartan cast.
Look up. No. You're good.
And I know Scott has a bunch of 3D printed stuff as well.
Yep. I'm not too concerned about like tournament participation for AOS, but like obviously people like clamor on about that a lot.
Well, that's just it too. Is like my new army is entirely 3D printed, but is not something that is offered at all by GW. I totally get wanting to restrict people from basically just pirating the normal stuff, right? If all you're doing is printing off standard Space Marines, yeah, that violates the IP and stuff, and I get it. But if, like, as an alternative to Space Marines, you're printing out, like, completely different robot soldiers and just playing them as Space Marines, as long as it's clear what they are, and you're not showing up with a bunch of elves on horseback and calling them Space Marines, I don't see a problem with it, personally. Yeah, that also may be true, Toilet Toads. It may be a difference between the top-level organizers and the actual event people. Where?
I'm kind of curious, like, what the argument is. Obviously, if you're a company that owns the IP and the models and you run a tournament, you're going to want people to use your models. Like, that makes sense. But if you're a third-party organizer, why do you care what models are used? As long as they're painted. Like, if it's a preference thing, which I get, you want the models to be painted and look pretty. I get that so far. But why do you care what models are used? Like, obviously there's some limitation on, like, you can't bring in toys. You can't bring in, like, paper mache models, 2D.
They have to conform to the rules, properly sized bases.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah. But if it's like a highly detailed 3D print and it looks like the thing that it's replacing, obviously there's gray area there, and maybe some tournaments don't even want to deal with sussing out the gray area. That could be a reason.
And yeah, exactly. I get that kind of argument, but it's like if I sit down across from you, Scott, and you pull out your 3D printed, what do you run them as? Graveguard?
Graveguard, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, they're just like cool vampire knights on foot. Okay, I get it. Anyone who complains about that, I think, is a gigantic weenie.
I agree.
That is my technical term for it.
Gigantic weenie indeed.
It makes sense. Like, yeah, If a GW store in store is running a tournament, fine. You run products that we make and sell. Okay. But like third-party tournaments, even if they have support from the company, I feel like you should be establishing your rules, and if the company wants to support you, they can, and if they don't have to. And my understanding was that the whole point of Renegade was that they were doing their own thing. So, I don't know. It's just one of those things. It doesn't dissuade me from doing my planned army, because it's not going to be an insane amount of work because of the low model count. And it's just cool. But it's just one of those drags. It seems like it's very particularly the GW community that really, really has big tie-ups about it.
GW won't withhold prize support for allowing 3D printable models. I'm assuming you are saying that they do withhold prize support. Otherwise, then I really have no idea why people are doing it.
They don't. Yeah, so then I don't know what the deal is.
I think it more... Midwinter's... Maybe trying to future-proof your events being... It'd be like, okay... Maybe, but that's just like fear-mongering at that point. I don't think that's a real reason.
That's also true, Pansy Bear, from what I've heard. Is that GW is pretty stingy with prize support, and they often don't do prize support for events they, like probably should.
Okay, so as I was saying, they do not. So what he's saying is they will support an event with prize support that allows third-party 3D printable models. Am I hearing that correctly? Because if their prize support is shit, so who cares? Okay, sure.
And that's just it too. It's like, I hear this complaint all the time from people in the miniature wargaming space where they say we don't want prizes that are product, and I think that that's totally legit.
Yeah, I think that's legit.
It's cool to get like new and unreleased stuff, but that's so rare. Most of the time, it's stuff that you either already have or isn't relevant to your interest in the game. Like, oh, sweet, I won the tournament, and now I get a starter box for a faction that I don't care about. Or whatever.
Are you saying you don't like this stuff, or you do like it?
I don't. I'm being sarcastic when I say, oh, sweet, there. Yeah, and we've all won stuff that we don't need, those of us who play at tournaments and stuff. I like exclusives. Like I like that Song of Ice and Fire has like stuff for showing up to events that are like, here's a cool limited model that you have to go to play, like at your game store or at an event to get or whatever. That's neat. But prize support, I would rather just have like a bitchin' trophy or a sword or something. Yeah, if you won a tournament, Scott, for a game that you don't intend to build another army for, right?
Sure.
What would you like? What's your dream reward for that tournament?
Cash, baby.
Do you think it's good to be playing for cash in miniature wargaming?
I guess it depends on the game. I feel like certain games, like for instance, Blood Bowl, like the way that Ali described it, and I agree with, is there is no debating on the legality of rules in Blood Bowl. And so, ostensibly, you shouldn't have many arguments with TOs about what's fair, what's not fair. So that kind of clears up that issue. The other issue is people bringing cheese lists to win at all costs if it's cash ran, which in Blood Bowl, there's probably issues with that. But in a perfect world, if you're playing a game that's like very, very balanced, like the Dota 2 of a miniature war game, I don't see a problem with cash. Maybe
yeah, but if you're playing, I want to push back on this before you finish your point.
Sure.
If you're playing for cash, you incentivize other forms of cheating more, such as weighted dice or, like you say there's no argument over rules. That's true. But if you put guys on the table and then try and intentionally obfuscate which one's which, You know, like this guy has these abilities and this guy has these abilities, and then midway through the game you start saying that those, oh no, this one is the one that had throw. He's always had throw, right? You can definitely run into that sort of intentional cheating.
Okay, so like you're saying that if it costs money, then it encourages people to cheat, and I think I would agree.
It depends, obviously, but like, yeah, let's just say that there's $1,000 top cash prize. That's going to incentivize cheating a lot more than, you know, a nebulous like, oh, this box is worth like $80 or whatever, right?
Yeah, I think you're right, but like, is that gonna happen? Is that like a reality? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe like a really big, cool trophy. Like, I'm trying to think of like the Olympics here, right? The Olympics don't give you a cash prize. Like, they're one of the most prestigious competitive events in the world. And it's just because it's the Olympics, and that's like how they define it. Kind of like Golden Demon, right? Golden Demons have trophies that are highly valued just because of the event's prestige. And so maybe like a really awesome trophy would be a thing, but I just looked at esports, and maybe they have issues with like inside betting with esports and stuff like that, but they all do cash events, and I don't know, it makes the thing feel more legit, but I don't know, you know? I don't know what's right. I know that Vince really dislikes the idea of cash prizes for gaming events.
I mean, I would also make the argument that at some point, product is the equivalent of a cash prize. It's just a cash prize with more steps. You know, like I finished in the money, so to speak, at the Super Regionals, and I got every piece of the Martell faction at the time. And I already had that stuff, so I immediately sold it for, you know, $200 or whatever it was. So there is still that incentive with product support. You know, getting a free Dominion box for finishing in the top 10% of an AOS tournament or whatever. Yeah, it's not much, but it's still something.
Yeah.
Unless that person's like, hey, I can finally build my Stormcast and Cruel Boys armies out of this. And that's true at Kelly's Reign. He says all games have cheating even without cash or prize support. Yep, there are some people who just need to win at all costs.
Yeah, and we've seen that before in like 40K and other events. 40K is the easiest to pick on because it's just a larger event.
Yeah, exactly. The big man on campus is going to have the most people.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm painting this face more. Is it raining?
It is. Complete side note. Montana's supposed to get like 4 to 10 inches of rain. 4 to 10 inches of snow over the next day.
Wow. Okay. Sucks to be them.
It's possible that storm comes on up here.
Don't you curse us with that, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, I like prizes like that, OSW Zenkiki. If you win the Legion World Championship, you get an invite and travel voucher for the following year. I like stuff like that.
That's cool too, yeah.
It's like,
I'm down with that.
I enjoyed the fact that the qualifier system for Song of Ice and Fire was like, if you finish well in one of the official tournaments across the country, you get free entry to CMON Expo and the tournament, which was, yeah, $110 value or something like that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I just don't understand the aversion towards 3D printed miniatures right now. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of good arguments for it.
Yeah, like there are reasons that explain maybe why TOs and companies want to do it, but they're not like good reasons. They're not compelling reasons to me.
Yeah.
Anyways, hair done. I fixed up some of the face, and now we'll try to fix up some of the, it's not overspray. What's the term you use for overspray, but with a paintbrush? And some of the mistakes I made with a paintbrush on the teal jacket.
A mistake?
Yeah, I know. It's just a mistake, right?
Clumsiness?
Fuck ups.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, we've almost certainly like polled you guys before asking what your opinion is on paid for competitions, but AMG seems even more pearl clutching about proxies than GW. AMG events don't even let you use the wrong sculpt of an MTP hero that has multiple sculpts. So I feel that as well. Like I posted in the AMG Shatterpoint Facebook group, which this is not the exact same thing, but it's run by AMG. So if their policies are similar on Facebook, they might be similar at tournaments. I posted like the new Inquisitor heads that I got sculpted for my models that aren't even in the game. And I didn't even like resculpt the model. I just put a new head on 2 Inquisitors, and that post got instantly deleted. Like within seconds, not even 30 seconds, it was gone because I had violated one of the rules of the group, which was just flat out no 3D printing allowed at all in that Facebook group, which is like, okay, that's kind of lame. But
that's not kind of lame. That's incredibly lame.
Yeah. Gotten a few posts deleted in that Facebook group, but mostly it's because I'm not reading the rules. I asked a question about when are we going to see some models from the sequels. It's because I love the concepts in the movies, like Kylo, like the Knights of Ren. Like that'd be awesome to see those models.
Yeah, exactly. The movies suck, but there's a lot of cool character designs.
Yeah, like that would make awesome miniatures. And that got deleted immediately because apparently there's a monthly thread where you like ask for your wish list and stuff like that. But yeah, the 3D printing thing was kind of a little bizarre. Let's get some yellow out here. That is funny with the AMG group because Legion has a massive 3D printing scene. Yeah, I know, no kidding, right?
Well, AMG did not purchase Legion Gilded Lines. It was a property assigned to them when the FFG was basically not completely shuttered, but basically shuttered by Asmodee.
I can see why AMG's so anal about it. Star Wars and Marvel. Yeah, honestly, I was in a chats with AMG to do a sponsored Kill Your Friends for Shatterpoint, and the list of requirements that they had for me to do a sponsored video because it was attached to Disney was fucking insane. And also Lucasfilms, LFL. I don't know what the second L is, or maybe it's not LFL, but both of those had like insane requirements, and they were like, it'll also take 2 to 6 weeks to review your video and get back to you. And I'm just like, you guys do not understand how YouTube works.
You were like, pass.
Yeah, I was like, hard pass. Like we're gonna stop it right there. Not possible. All right, I'm mixing some of this Caribbean blue, a lovely teal color, with a Vallejo Ice Yellow, a yellow, and it just gives you this lovely turquoise, bright
Frontier,
color.
we don't talk about Armada. Even though, according to Scott at the store, Armada continues to be the overall best-selling Star Wars game at the source.
Interesting.
Even though I don't think Armada has had like a release in like a year or something like that. I might be wrong.
I asked a question about Armada getting any releases and got deleted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Disney does not fuck around at all. Do not go into Disney's offices and take a picture of an unreleased model. They will fuck you.
You know, you say that, and yet Tom Holland has continued to be Spider-Man, even though he keeps every time in the press junket before a movie, he accidentally says something he's not supposed to.
Okay, well. Unfortunately, I am not Tom Holland, although I would love to be Tom Holland.
Yeah. We could all be Tom Holland. That's true. Their job is to make money, not make people happy. Yep, you're absolutely right. However, policies against putting 3D printed heads on your official miniatures does not actually make them more money. And it also makes people unhappy.
I got an email this morning from a company that makes lightsabers. I get so many emails about sponsorships for companies that just like are not at all related to miniature painting. And I actually got really mad at one recently because she had emailed me like 3 times, and she was like, "Did you see my email?" It's like, you make fucking sofas, bro. I paint miniatures. Like, I'm not gonna, like, I don't understand how you are so fucking brain dead. And so I went off on one of them, which was not necessary, but I was just like, I don't understand after the third email how you don't get why I'm not interested.
Meanwhile, we pull up a Ninjan video and he's got a sponsorship from like anything.
That's fine. Like a lot of YouTubers do that, and I don't blame. I don't I think it's a problem. I'm not interested in that. Especially like a sofa. It was a fucking sofa. And
don't you like to sit in your beanbag chair while you paint minis, Scott?
that might be nice, actually.
That would be awful. None of that elbow support that you crave.
Oh, you're right, actually.
A painter's sofa.
But yeah, I was like, okay, maybe we've been wanting to do this like in-house tournament in the office, and like if we did like an in-house Shatterpoint tournament, we could like the first place could like get like a lightsaber. And so I actually responded to the lightsaber one, and I was like, what are you asking for? Like, what do you want us to do? Like, if it's just like showing the lightsaber on camera and like putting a link in the description, like absolutely, we'll fucking take a lightsaber, and it'll be like a trophy for that fun,
You can't call it a lightsaber, Scott.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure that they have some non-lightsaber name for it, right?
Laser sword.
Yes, there you go.
Doesn't Vince need a sofa in his basement? I mean, I don't think there's much space in Vince's basement anymore.
I mean, the man's got like 50 armies down there.
Didn't Ninja do an Adam and Eve sponsor? I have no idea what that is.
He did. Adam and Eve is a retailer of adult products on the internet.
Seriously?
Uh-huh.
You did that?
Uh-huh.
Advertising what?
Just the website. Use code Ninjan for whatever, 10% off.
But like was he advertising like fucking dildos and shit in his video?
Yeah. I mean, the website where you can buy them. Yeah.
I don't even know that YouTube would be okay with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. There is a core and fundamental difference in ethos in how John and Scott run their YouTube channels, which I find very humorous.
It is humorous just because we collaborate on the podcast.
Yeah, because you guys are great friends and collaborate on the podcast and all that stuff. But it's like John treats the channel first and foremost business. Does this make sense monetarily for the channel? And you're like trying to make it a cohesive like artistic package, and he's like, the sponsors, keep the lights on. I do not care what the sponsors are. I'll tie it into the video.
And a lot of YouTubers are like that.
Yep.
I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah, Adam Ragusia does the same thing. We're both big fans of him.
Yeah.
Obviously, like LTT or whatever. Any number of YouTube channels where it's just kind of like we have some things that we won't touch. Like I won't take advertisements from supplement companies or whatever, right? But otherwise, it's just green light on whoever wants this lot.
I just figure if I have so many people asking for sponsorships because I make so few videos, it's just easy to keep them all hobby stuff. But if I made more videos and had less opportunity, I would definitely use those brands like Skillshare and VPNs and Displate and shit like that.
Yep, that makes sense. There's the other piece of it too that, it's completely plausible that those brands are willing to pay more for the slots than some hobby brands are.
Playing a Manscaped, yeah. Still trying to get established titles to email me back. I don't know. I think they're a little... I haven't heard from them in a while, but I don't know if they're going to be doing much more of that, which I'm assuming that's the joke you're trying to make, Jay.
Yeah.
Okay. Looked at the other Balon model that I had painted up, and there was I put like the gold details in a little bit different places, so I'm gonna do that now. Cram all the sponsors in one video, easy. 30 minutes of Scott doing sponsors, 10 minutes of making a base. Yeah, that'll work out.
Didn't LTT do that 2 years ago?
I don't know, did they?
Yeah, I think so. Last year was the potato farm. And the year before that, I think was a video that was just like 20 minutes of all sponsors.
Yeah.
Like every sponsor outro was but first this word from our sponsor, and then another one.
Just kept going.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And it was like all ridiculous stuff that they wouldn't normally have any market for.
Actually, maybe I won't. I will say the one nice thing about working with a company that is larger and more established when compared to a smaller company is just that you don't have to sell them on the idea of a sponsorship and like what its worth is. Like they've already gone through that like education, either because they work in the industry or because someone who's working in the industry told them. And you might even get more money if you use like Squarespace and NordVPN and Adam and Eve because they have that third-party company that's working on their behalf.
Yep.
So that is nice, honestly.
Their advertising budget is often a lot less limited across the platform too.
Yeah.
You know, if you're working with a small company, they might be saying, yeah, our ad buy across YouTube is 10 grand. Whereas with a company like Squarespace is probably like, yeah, our ad buy comprehensive all platforms is $500,000 for the quarter or whatever.
Exactly. Scott did say he wants to be the LTT of Miniature Painting. It's true. It's still true. Yeah. I don't absolutely hate Raid Shadow Legends. I just avoid them like the plague because of how much they're hated. Like I don't even know. I get like an email once every 2 weeks from Raid Shadow Legends, maybe.
Still?
Yeah, among other
Holy
mobile
crap.
offers.
They definitely are less prolific than they used to be, but I think that is just because people started recognizing that oversaturation and we're like, we're going to stop doing this.
Yeah, definitely that was the thing.
Also, Adam Stevens subscribed with Prime for 25 months.
Woo! Adam Stevens!
See, it's viewers like you that are the real sponsors here.
Truly though.
We have 400 subscribers or something like that. A lot.
Truly, yeah.
And then the patrons, all that. The most valued sponsors.
Everyone's taking a deal with this because they're a nightmare to work with. Interesting. I feel like, because you work mostly with the third-party agency who's like brokering the deal on their behalf, but obviously like the video still at some point needs to like get to Raid Shadow Legends to determine if it looks good. Maybe that's where like the thing starts to fall apart. Lamp is flickering. Yeah, it's in flame mode, candle mode, or whatever.
It's on spooky mode. Oh yeah, that reminds me, chat. If you've got good ideas for next week's Super Halloween Spectacular stream, which definitely is going to be a giant event, just look at Scott's face. Throw them up in the chat. Yeah, it's on Adam and Eve sponsored light bulb mode.
just modulates back and forth between pink and blue. Spooky sexy mode engage. What up, Broadsword Wargaming? Are you back in Ireland?
I mean, they left yesterday, right?
Paint a vampire. I could paint a vampire, dress as a vampire.
Recursion. Can you paint a vampire while that vampire is painting a vampire? No, just back to the hotel in Milwaukee.
Oh, right. Because I dropped you. Wait, hold on. What? I dropped you off yesterday morning. Oh, you mean so you were out? Just got back. I got you. Skellies, vampires.
We could do pumpkin carving.
Pumpkin carving.
I used to work with this woman that like would win competitions of pumpkin carving.
That's kind of cool.
doing the whole thing where you just like shave different depths to get shading and everything.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
she was
cool.
really good.
That's cool.
Yeah, Jessica's super crafty.
Crafty Jess.
Mm-hmm. She and Amber would get along well.
Can we get a Don? Don Haney?
Spooky Don. What does Don say? Don says, start with a better idea. Okay. Thanks, Don.
Don.
Damn.
You went to a bobblehead museum, dude? The fuck?
Scott, did you see Don's entries at, what was it, MMSI that was over the weekend?
I did not know.
I wonder if he posted them to his Instagram because holy crap, they are good.
Dang, I think he actually invited me to go to that thing with him. I totally forgot.
Yeah, it's in Chicago. I would have gone, except Broadsword Wargaming was in town.
Huge.
Yeah, my buddy Michael went there. He was the one that actually sent me pictures of Don's stuff.
Nice.
And I think he and Don both got silvers.
Oh, nice.
Let's see here. What is the name of Don's Instagram? Colorful Soldiers?
Colorful Soldiers with a U, because he's British.
I do not see them on here. He has not posted pictures of them. If anyone wants to look at Don Haney's Instagram, there you go.
Good old Don Haney.
Yeah, he's got some Frostgrave. Yeah, basically, it looks like the last time he updated it was when he was here for Frostgrave.
Nice.
You see if I can't suss out those pictures. Oh, the historical stuff is on his other account. Okay, yeah, all right.
Someone in chat know that? Oh wow,
That's what
that's
Azathoth
tough.
said.
He's on top of it.
I didn't realize that he had a separate one for historicals.
I got a formal request of baking stream, pumpkin pie with Scott. I don't know.
Oh, I see. There's colorful and colored soldiers. Got it. Okay.
I don't know how to make
There's this historical one. Yeah, and this is...
pumpkin pie.
Oh, Instagram, I hate you so much. I just want to look at the image without the text.
Let's see. If I did a baking stream, I could bake peach cobbler and a really good savory layered puff pastry biscuit. I think that's the extent of my baking skills. I mean, I can make like a
Baking stream, huh?
yeah, I can make a pretty good rough puff pastry, which then turns into like cobbles for a cobbler or a nice biscuit. How about a baked stream where you try to bake high? I mean, I'm fucking down for that.
Yeah, man.
1v1 a Song of Ice and Fire game? Whoa. Just got a pre-made one? You got a pre-made fucking peach cobbler? That's cool. So it's interesting how much of a coincidence that was.
Hell?
Yeah, a lot of people that use airbrushes also decorate cakes and shit. So it makes sense why they were talking about food paint in an airbrush. It's funny, like the most popular video on my channel is the airbrushing one, like about beginner airbrushing. And I get a lot of comments on there about people who are airbrushing t-shirts, cakes, and all kinds of other things about other than miniatures, which I thought was pretty interesting. Airbrush a Space Marine cake, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you said you'd never paint a Space Marine again, but you didn't say you wouldn't do paintings of Space Marines.
That's why, yeah, I'm fine with that. I got a helmet, a Space Marine helmet over there that I want to paint eventually, and that to me doesn't count as a miniature. Airbrushing more popular than yeah, I think the airbrushing one's at 1.4 milli, and that one's at like 1 milli.
All right, let's pull these up. These are Don's pieces that he brought out
Ooh,
at MMSI Chicago.
nice, nice.
So they're both recreations of
Oh,
historic photos.
I've definitely seen the Easter eggs for Hitler one.
Yeah, that one is the one that blows my mind.
Yeah, that one's nice.
This one's very good. This is one of the most convincing paintings of paint that I've ever seen. Like the ones on the Happy Easter shells.
Oh, like...
That it actually looks like in-scale painting on something.
Yeah, I see.
So hard to pull that off.
I see what you're saying. You want it to look shitty enough that it looks like it's hand-drawn.
Yeah, but like in-scale and all that stuff.
Yeah, not so shitty that it looks distractingly bad. But yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, nice to hear that, Rolls Royce.
It's Rills Rick, by the way.
Right, of course.
So yeah, congrats to Don. If Michael had an Instagram, I'd show off his stuff, but he doesn't because he doesn't do social media.
Yeah, people asked in the escalation campaign for the people's Instagrams, but like the majority of you do not have active Instagram that you keep up on.
I have an Instagram.
That you keep up on?
No.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever posted anything miniature related to it either. Hang on. Let me look.
But Dan does. Dan's probably the most active of the 6 that were involved.
My last picture on my Instagram is from when I removed the engine from my truck just before I broke my neck in 2019.
You got a lot of crap in that video for the cat bite being an excuse for painting.
People don't know. I should have made it explicit. The cat bit me. I couldn't paint for 2 months. And follow up, they were concerned I was going to lose my thumb. That kind of brings home the seriousness of the injury, as opposed to the what a likely excuse.
I explained it to at least one person.
I did as well. My favorite were was the guy that was like legitimately mad at me for saying that Stormcast was the best army.
Yeah, that person got really upset. Like that, it's so weird to me how people just totally miss the joke completely.
Yeah. Cat ate my painting hand. Get that as a bumper sticker. Have you thought of making a collaboration Instagram for those who are less active on social media that you know? No, I honestly had never considered that idea, and I doubt Scott had. But not a terrible one.
I mean, it's an idea, but like, I don't know what value it brings to like it's more stuff to manage, and does it bring that same value as the time it would take to manage? I don't think so. Maybe it doesn't cost any management time because you just like give them a password and a...
Yeah, it's just a brand account that everyone's got to log into.
Yeah, and they just log into it. I don't know. No, I haven't thought about that, to answer the original question. I honestly liked hearing people talk about liking the things in AOS that I don't like. Oh. What was an example of that?
Yeah, what did we like in AOS that you didn't like?
For Halloween, you should make a new S-Dub video. Does that mean a new video about Crisis?
Truly spooky.
Yeah. Just about some dead game.
Speaking of dead games, I spent a lot of time this weekend watching the coverage of CitizenCon.
CitizenCon?
The Star Citizen convention.
Oh, okay.
And that game's made in a fork of CryEngine, which is why it came to mind. And holy crap, their tech has taken a giant leap in the last year or two.
CryEngine or the companies?
Their fork of it, they're calling it Star Engine.
Oh, okay.
They have some very, very cool stuff going on there.
Yeah. The last thing that I found out that Star Citizen, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
What the coolest thing they are doing is that obviously it's a massive game with tons of worlds and has persistent knowledge about what goes on in that world. So if you go and drop a gun in a bush in some fucking tiny planet in the middle of nowhere, and you go back to that tiny planet like a month later, that gun will still be there. And it's just like, how do you store all that data? It's insane.
Yeah, that was a big part of their tech was talking about how they're actually implementing that and making that work.
Cool.
Their server intermeshing system. I have a one step above like zero knowledge of game development. It was the thing I wanted to do for a little bit. I kind of keep up on it, but it's just basic technical knowledge. And the presentation on their server meshing blew my mind.
Were you able to finish any of the reels? Like one of them? Or anything?
No.
Okay.
One's almost finished.
Okay.
My work, though, I wanted to talk to you about
Okay.
because it seems like instead of getting like people that they're the actual minis, right?
No, I should have some film stuff for them.
But they're the actual minis. It's not like product that we shot.
It is literally it's product that we shot, but they are minis, yes.
Yeah. So that's different than just like the frontier and all that.
It shouldn't be. It's just there's footage of unpainted models, and that'd be kind of what I'd be looking for. No, yeah, unpainted stuff, which I know I filmed some stuff out, but not a ton maybe.
Not done, no.
Okay.
I figured you wanted like the process of it.
No.
You want the bare model.
Yeah, just the stuff that was in the ad sequence.
Okay. That's what I was
Okay, cool. See you tomorrow. On-air production meeting. Yeah, he leaves during the middle of the stream. Just wanted to touch base with him, see how far he got. I guess it's not actually AOS, but one guy talked about liking the old toughness versus strength chart when rolling the wound.
Yeah, that's the old world.
Yeah, I don't think that Alex necessarily liked it, but what he was trying to illustrate with that example was that because of the system that was understandable by everyone, you were able to have more varied individual units in an army without needing bespoke rules that needed to be explained constantly. You could have a strength 5, toughness 5 Minotaur, and that would be different than a strength 3, toughness 3 Ungor in your Beastman army. And you wouldn't need to have a rule that was like, whenever this unit rolls a 1 on defense, it gets to re-roll it. And it's called like Beastman Rage or whatever. Like you don't need that just because it's built into the system.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of depends on if you like that or not. That's definitely an old way of doing war games. I don't mind it because like I memorized the chart, and so it's kind of just built into my brain. But
how many games of fantasy did you win?
2. 2 out of like the 50 that I played. Everyone fucking beat me when I was a little kid.
Clip that.
They all fucking beat me. But yeah, it's like it depends on what you like. I don't necessarily think that's a great system either, but I do get what he was trying to say. I feel like there's definitely an in-between world. I feel like A Song of Ice and Fire is kind of more on the every unit is kind of similar spectrum. Things feel too same. And then you have over here Age of Sigmar. Everything is very different. Like buying a new army book is like adding an expansion onto Age of Sigmar. It's not even like it's so
not
different.
even just a book. This was what I was gonna say. It's like you have a book for each army that's like a whole nother game system on top. And then I wonder what portion of rules text for the game is on the unit cards.
Yeah.
Rules. I would be willing to guess it's something like half of the words
I don't think
across
it's half.
the whole game.
I don't think it's half.
There are a lot of battle scrolls that are very, very big and complicated. And
Yeah.
every single unit has at least one paragraph. And most of them have more like 4.
Yeah,
It adds up because that game has a lot of fucking units, right?
it does.
It's also the rules text in the rules books. Like your Soulblight book probably only has about 10 or 15 pages of rules. Of the actual, like, this is what this dynasty does, here are the items, here are your battle tactics, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's mostly lore and painting and theming and that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, it is.
So, how many Soulblight Gravelords units are there? I bet I could figure this out without too much work.
Yeah, if you had like a PDF that could count the words, you could probably figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what I was trying to say is that there must be something in the middle. Like there must be a thing in the middle that's like, or like that's what I would shoot for in a game. Not as diverse as AOS, where it feels like you are adding a new game whenever you buy a new faction or whatever. But not as same as Song of Ice and Fire. Again, neither of these are like what I would consider to be like the polar extremes. They're kind of like 20% in from the polar extremes, but something more in the middle would be my preference.
Yeah, actually, an example of something where everyone is kind of the same truly is probably Blood Bowl.
You think so?
Units-wise, yeah.
Oh, like catcher.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you just have a set of traits that you're assigning to your guys. Because they don't have, like, a ton of stats, right? There's, like, an armor stat and a move stat. Or an agility stat or whatever it is.
There's kind of a lot of stats, but I wasn't really sure on when they were all being used.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it's like you have a few numbers that are associated with a unit, and then you have abilities that just like, oh yeah, that means that you get rerolls on this thing or whatever, or you get a bonus to this.
Yeah, it's
or
like,
on this dice roll it does this thing, but it's universal across the game.
Yes, that's actually like how fantasy used to be. You had a section in the rule book called special rules. You had hatred, stupidity, all these things.
Right.
And then you would use those keywords when building out your army.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good way of putting it. They're keywords, right? And then you have a couple of army-specific special rules. Like Ollie's army, the undead can raise up the dead bodies of opposing players or whatever. But that's like their army special thing.
Yeah.
But overall, there's not a lot of actual, like, unique this guy from what I've seen.
Yep. Okay, Mr. Balon. He's good enough. That's a Greyjoy character. I hate this model. I hate painting it. It sucks so much.
It's funny. It's one of my favorite poses, but
yeah, it's a cool pose.
I do agree with you that it has that derpy face.
Derpy face and all the detail feels so blobby and not fun to paint.
It has that weird thing where he's got like two different scale mails going on.
Yeah, a bunch of weird layers of fabric and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to start painting probably an actual unit, which sucks. I don't want to bash paint a unit, but I need to get this Greyjoy army finished in time for middle of November. There'll probably be a video that's just like me frantically painting the rest of my Greyjoy army. And also the activation banners. So I think the next unit for me to paint that just gets used so often, or we could paint Euron Greyjoy. Let's paint Euron Greyjoy. That's more fun.
Totally copping out.
Yep. I'll leave the unit painting for that video where I'm being frantic and annoying.
Cornflake Justice wants to know if you're keeping up with the International.
Yes, I am, Cornflake. I'm glad you're back, brother. I saw your message during my Blood Bowl stream, and so happy that Gaming Gladiators got out. They're still going strong in the lower bracket, and they beat who'd they beat? They fucking destroyed Nine Pandas and did really good against EG, but those games were so long and awesome to watch. But yeah, it's awesome. Love seeing Nouns winning. There's a shitty North American team who 2-0'd one of the TI winners last year, a European team. So that was
That's a big upset.
Totally unexpected, yeah. And they're still winning in the lower bracket. So I'm kind of hoping they're gonna just go on a tear and just take it all, but we'll see. Just some no-name, unsponsored North American team.
The Cinderella Dream.
Yeah,
are they playing weirdo off-meta shit?
They are.
Hell yeah! Now we're talking.
They're playing mid laners that are typically support characters, and they're winning games. So it's just like
Lena mid.
It's not Lena, but Ogre Magi. You know Ogre Magi?
Hell yeah.
So yeah, just absolutely awesome stuff. And it's North America. Come on, you gotta support the NA boys because they never win anything. All right. Where are you at, Euron?
Where my Euron at?
Where are you at? I know he's got a sword broken off because this carrying case is monstrous.
Also, I don't know if you've noticed all these people wishing you a happy partner anniversary, Scott.
No, what's this?
It is your partner anniversary.
Oh,
we got
thank you.
partner status in October.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. They would tell you guys about that. Appreciate the.
When you first tune in, it like autofills the chat with it and says, "Wish me a happy partner anniversary."
Just like that.
Yep. Audio pop up and everything. It's
uses Evan's voice. Where the fuck is this model, bro? Yeah, dude, you're right. GG is looking very good. They've really hit their stride once they beat EG in 70 fucking minutes. Now they're starting to really kill people. All right, maybe it's the very last thing.
Well, you know, Scott, it's always in the last place you look.
Yeah, pretty much. Nope, it ain't here either. It's
my least favorite idiom.
Oh,
Because if it weren't true that it was in the last place you look, that would mean that you kept looking after you found it. In which case,
it's very conveniently
you
true.
have brain damage or something.
I don't know how I can't find this model. Heroes of the Storm was peak esports for me. It was high octane, nail biting games almost all the time with constant action. Rip the GOAT. The GOAT? You think Heroes of the Storm is the GOAT? I feel like Dota 1 is the GOAT.
Honestly, I really loved HOTS.
Yeah.
Game delivers on the promise of a MOBA. The promise being that I can sit down and play one game with my friends and reliably have a good time and be done in 25 minutes.
Who the fuck says that's the promise of a MOBA?
That's the real
Someone lied to you, bro. That is
No,
not-
because HOTS delivers on that, man.
I want toxic as fuck teammates. I want to be stuck there for an hour. Okay, I don't know what his model is. It should be in here. I did break the axe handle on it. All right, well, in the meantime, let's make some progress. I do want to paint a unit of archers and probably a unit of iron makers. We did a little test stream, me versus Curtis, and I ran the Vile double silenced men. And while I could paint up a second silenced men unit, that'd be competitively viable.
Do it.
It's just, I don't think it makes for a very fun game. And so we'll probably not do that. So let me grab out some archers. I also love iron makers. They're the original reason why I got into Greyjoy. So it's probably a good reason to include them in my painted army. Frontier, yeah, I mean, it definitely isn't for everyone. That's totally true. HOTS trimmed out as much of the shitty parts of MOBA as possible, and then added stuff other MOBAs sorely miss. Multiple maps, dynamic objectives, etc.
Yeah, it's all the fun parts of the MOBA. It is also, I would argue, the AOS of MOBAs too, though. Where it's just like, you don't really know what you're getting every game because there's like 20 different maps, and they all have weird different rules, and there's so many different unique heroes. So it's like, I understand that it's a less, it's not a less competitive game. That's not the term I'm looking for. It is a less competitive experience. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Because you just like click Q with your friends, and then you go, I'm playing Jim Raynor. It's gonna be sick. Watch this.
Yeah. HOTS is Heroes of the Storm. It's a MOBA that was made by Blizzard.
Yeah.
How many minis do you have left to paint for your Greyjoy army? Two units. Well, let's see.
Bowman.
Iron Makers, and then maybe like an odd attachment or two. So it really isn't that much more to do, honestly. I'm doing pretty well for myself. All right, we found Euron. I don't know how I couldn't see him, but I got him. But he is missing an axe. It just has fallen off. So let's fix it. This is a thing that a lot of people struggle with fixing. Pinning very small weapon halves, and I'm gonna show you how I fix it.
You just take a big ball of green stuff and stick it on there.
So like 4? Oh no, like 25 models? 12 models in each infantry unit. And then 1 for each typical character.
I have never played Turbo Dota.
Turbo. Man, I haven't played Dota in forever anyways. I just watch it. I'm a fucking loser.
That just makes you an adult. You don't have time for video games. Those are for children.
I definitely have time. It's sad. It's almost the same thing as it's almost the same thing as like wanting to watch like critically acclaimed movies. Like when I sit down to watch a critically acclaimed movie, I kind of feel like I have to really pay attention and really soak it all in and have something very meaningful to say when I'm done with the experience.
Yeah.
And because of that, I sometimes don't want to watch movies like that. And so
sometimes you just want to eat junk food.
I know, and so I just,
or in my case, all the time.
Exactly. And so that's kind of where I'm at all the time. I'm just gonna watch a bunch of shitty movies all the time. That's what I do.
I would like to get into the routine of having like one day a month where I get together with film buddies of mine and watch a film, a drama film or something, where it's like a set event.
Yeah.
The schedule and everything, where it's just like, this month we're gonna watch The Exorcist, and this month we're gonna watch, or whatever.
Yeah.
Ash donated $5.
Thanks, Ash. Appreciate it.
Ash says, I know we use terms like cast, shadow, and specular highlight, etc. But do you have a good source that has all these lighting terms with definitions and examples anywhere on the internet or a specific book?
No.
There is that one classic painting book that everyone recommends, and Dan bought me a copy of that I can't remember the name of off the top.
Oh. Yeah, here, let me get you some books. I got 2 books I'm gonna go get. Right over here.
Painting book. Wow, it's the first result. Color and Light by James Gurney.
All right. These 2 these 2 books, for me, really changed the way. Can you guys hear the rain more when I'm closer to the skylight?
They can't at all.
Oh, because of the
noise
ducking?
suppression and also the music, yeah.
Okay. These 2, I love the sound of rain. If it rains too hard, it fucks with the recording, but it's nice to hear.
Rain keeps
Also,
falling.
Consider reading the Bible, you fucking sinners! I agree, Mike Genie. Okay. This one, Figopedia, is a miniature painting focused discussion about light. And this isn't super technical.
How is that spelled? Figopedia.
And this is a classic one. Also, this guy, Jeremy Bonamont, he's classic. He's been around forever painting models, and he's got a lot of good stories about him. But like this is like his manifesto. This is like a lot of his big information about mini painting distilled into a book. And there's some stuff in here that's kind of useless, but there's a lot of stuff in here that's really good, I think. At least
got a 4.7 on Goodreads.
Yeah, and so it was great for me when I was like 4 years ago when I first got it. I can't remember when I first got it, but here's a lot of
probably more like 7 years ago.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, good stuff. Yes, he is French. And then the other one that Evan mentioned, this is the cover of it. Yep. This is technical. This teaches you all sorts of very valuable things about color theory.
I read about half of that book, and then I was like, I need to stop because I'm not good enough to take advantage of this knowledge now.
But like, you guys can't see it, but I'll just, it has like center light, highlight, halftone, terminator, reflected light, cast shadow, occlusion shadow, coarse shadow.
Whoa, did you just say the Terminator's in that picture?
Yeah, a terminator. A terminator shadow is the darkest line in between your main light and also the reflected light. it divides light sources. That dark line. It's called a Terminator shadow. And in fact, Benjamin Cantor talks about it in his class. He talks about core shadows, talks about occlusion, stuff like that.
Does he just talk about the Terminator for 30 minutes?
He does, yeah. There's a whole lesson just about the Terminator.
Ben does a really bad Arnold Schwarzenegger impression.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm surprised it didn't come across that doing the audio cleanup, but you know. My CPU is a neural net processor, a learning computer. I'm learning about miniature painting.
You just wanted an excuse to talk like Arnold Schwarzenegger, didn't you?
No. Do I doubt Ben's ability to do an Arnold impression? No.
All right, chat. Tell him he's good at it. All right. Not a lot of options.
I'm trying to figure out the light source. I can't get these fucking lips right.
Oh, I hate it.
He only hates it because he can't do it.
It's true. It's true. I can't live up. Okay, I apparently have a fantasy human miscellaneous and a fantasy miscellaneous. I don't know what the difference is. Oh, God.
Mike Genie, just remember, you cannot get Portillo's. There will be no consumption of Portillo's.
Oh, God.
Arnold is probably team fuck eyes. I don't know. I feel like Arnold would be the kind of guy that would be like, you have to paint the eye 10,000 times to get it right. The repetition.
Oh, God. Totally just destroyed that model.
Well, that's good because it's for bits, right?
Yeah.
So it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
Up, down. Up, down.
Okay. We got some fucking options in here. It's gonna be hard to find a bit that is the right scale because most stuff I have is like old Warhammer Fantasy bits, and like their hands are so chunky. Yeah, big old chonkers.
Lord Dreadalus, thank you. I don't think that that's true, but thank you.
What
Legit, the best Arnold I've ever heard.
Yeah. Okay. Don't feed him. Don't feed him this. Okay. He doesn't need to know that.
I'm just gonna put it in the Go Live notification. Painting with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Could you maintain that for a whole stream?
Yeah. I could maintain that Arnold voice for a whole month. I am become Arnold. That's what I should have done at Nats.
Just been Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah. It just talked like him. And then when people ask me why I'm doing a bad Arnold Schwarzenegger impression, I'll be like, I'm not doing an impression.
All right, I think the best bit I found, which is not super ideal, I don't like it a lot for a Greyjoy bit, is this axe. It seems to be the right size. I think if I fill in the...
I have a question before you go down this road.
Sure, yeah. What's
Do
up?
you have the Greyjoy captains from the starter box? Because you have two of those, and you could just cannibalize an axe from one of them.
From the what?
The attachments that you get in the starter.
Oh man, I don't fucking know. What do they even look like?
I don't know. They look like Greyjoy dudes.
Greyjoy dudes. Wait, there are no... A captain is not an attachment in the Greyjoy army.
Yes, it is.
No.
Reaver captain?
A Reaver. Okay, a Reaver captain, sure.
Yeah.
Let's see how they're holding their axes. Because if they don't have enough slack to use it, like if they're choking up too much, then it's not super good. How much is Euron choking up? He's like holding the bandaged handle of an axe and the Reaver Captain seems to be choking up quite a bit. There is the other Reaver Captain that you gave me, but I want to keep that one.
Yeah, he's too cool to chop up. I don't know, or you could just kill one regular Reaver.
I could kill
You
a
have
Reaver.
2 units of Reavers.
This is true. I maybe even have 3. Let's see if maybe randomly there's an axe head in the bottom of this case. There isn't. All right, let's chop an axe off. Bucket. This one seems to be the best option.
I feel like that's a better solution than weird big old fantasy axe.
I mean, that one wasn't that big. That one seemed fine.
It had like holes in it and stuff, and its head was way bigger than the other one.
It was way bigger. Are you sure?
I don't know.
One of these swords I grabbed, that was definitely not right. All right, whatever. I don't care. We'll chop it off. All right. Sorry, Reaver. Your axe now belongs to me. Choop.
Your axe is mine.
Haha. Maybe I should have cut off an axe off of one that was already broken.
He almost did it. Did you hear that? He almost went full Arnold.
Okay, so with this kind of situation, how I solve this problem is pretty simple. Conventional wisdom might be you pinning these 2 things together, and that is possible. But I think a much easier solution is to just use the material as the pin itself. And so if I just drill a hole in here, I can use the haft of the weapon as the pin, and I will just shove it into this hole. I'm going to taper the end of the axe so it fits into the hole more nicely. But that should do it. That should be a nice secure fit. So we'll do that. We'll get a little pilot hole started here with my X-Acto knife. We'll drill it a little bit deeper. I'll taper the end of this axe, and then we'll just stick it in there. Easy peasy.
The hell? Why would that be a link? If I say something like, okay, I see. Oh, hey, on the subject of the book Color and Light, there's a link with our affiliate code. So if you do want to pick up a copy of that book, you can follow that link and do it, and a very small portion of that purchase goes to us.
Appreciate that if you do that.
I don't know what the hell points are, but we earn points or something. And then we can use points in the config sys for the DOS setup for great buns guaranteed.
What is this mygoal.wmv and imugoal.mov? What is this bullshit you're putting in the chat?
Just ignore it.
You give people viruses right now?
Yeah, I'm
Oh.
hacking people.
Don't click on that shit.
Do click on it. I dare you.
Who is your daddy and what does he paint?
I think you'd say Pappy to maintain the alliteration.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's who is your daddy and what does he do?
Yeah. Don't tell me what to do. All right, fine.
Yeah.
Click it.
That would be my strategy if I were a hacker. I would send an email saying, don't click this link.
Works.
And if they didn't do it, I would send them a follow-up that said, fine, I dare you, click it. See what happens. Cornflake Justice says, my papa done taught me not to click on Mr. links from many chat rooms. Taught you about the evils of the AOL? The devil, he's on that America Online. Max Dammit subscribed with Prime for the first time.
Woo, Max, damn it. Thanks for the sub.
And I have good news, Max Dammit. Because you just subscribed, you can get access to the Discord. I think that's the command that explains it. Yep. If you're a Twitch sub, you can join the Discord. In Discord settings, connect your Twitch account and go to Settings, Connections, Twitch. Once it's connected, it shows the Miniac Discord under Twitch, and you can click Join. And then you can pester me about posting more pictures of my Stormcast, and I'll do that as soon as they have heads.
All right. Yeah, Broken Axe Man,
Broken Axe Man.
aka Euron Greyjoy, a little bit of super glue. Just stick that thing right in there. Boosh.
That worked pretty well.
Yeah, just using the weapon as the pin itself.
Frontier says, work makes us go through internet security training every year, which gets more cursed every year. I have a little bit of a thing about that. One of my jobs, I work at a radio station, and they run so many internal phishing campaigns that it's the majority of the emails that I receive. That they're not external phishing. It is internal, like, trying to trick you into clicking on things so that IT can reprimand you.
Seriously?
Clicking on things? Yes. It is the majority of the emails that I receive.
Wow.
It's insane. I have actually probably never received any external phishing or spam links to my work email, but that's because I basically only use it internally. But it's just really humorous to me that when they hired this service that, they run their training through or whatever, it's like part of the package is like multiple emails a week of like your invoice from Amazon, and it's like, okay, sure. Yeah. And apparently I know that I'm not alone in this experience, and Chad is backing me up, where people are talking about that they get a bunch from their internal IT departments now too. It's like been a thing.
Yeah.
This has been true at my job now for like 5 years. I've been at that radio station now for over 11. And yeah, five or 6 years ago, they hired this firm as part of their security revamp, and it's just been constant ever since then. And of course, because it's their system sending it, it bypasses the spam filter that the inbox has. So it actually hits my inbox and sends me notifications and stuff. I unlinked my work email for that job from my phone because I was sick of getting all of these stupid notifications.
How often was it happening?
At least once a day.
Damn.
Like I said, it's the majority of emails that I get. It's a part-time job, so I don't get a ton, but I probably get 10 or 15 emails a week, and more than half of them are these stupid security tests. That worked great.
It did work nicely. Now I just gotta find the mold lines that I'm almost assuredly missing right now. So this guy mostly wearing black. I suppose it doesn't really matter. I can paint however the fuck I want.
Yeah, I was about to say, you tell us what colors he's wearing, Scott.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Oh boy.
Tubikin says, we work on a federal contract, and if we go outside the country, even for vacation, we have to have a pre-trip briefing with security and a post-trip briefing with security about where you plan to go, who you plan to meet, and then who you actually did meet, where you approached at any point, etc., etc. Yeah.
You have a security job or an important job related to security or U.S. defense or something that's important to remain behind closed doors, because Curtis also has to deal with that whenever he wants to travel anywhere. And he's actually just straight up not allowed to travel to certain areas, like I think China he can't go to, just flat out.
I'm sure that he would also struggle to go some other places, but they'd be more difficult to buy plane tickets to.
Yeah. All right. Cleaned up. Axle. Ooh. Let me get some let me get some accelerant here. I added a blob of super glue to his hand because there was a little bit of a gap because I didn't taper it perfectly. And so I just filled that gap with medium CA glue. But it's a little not dry at the moment, so I'll just hit it with a little bit of that. Accelerant. And then we'll move on to priming.
Someone tell me what super glue accelerant is other than just water.
Yeah, what? It smells weird.
Yeah, it's definitely got stuff in it. But is it just to have things in it that make it smell weird? So we think it's not just water?
Naphtha? Is that what naphtha smells like? I've never used naphtha. I know it's an art product though.
Super glue accelerant is make your hand hurty spray? Really? Fins, enamels, and varnish. Oh man. Chemical answers. Dimethyl P toluidine.
You burn yourself with Instaset? How? Do you get super glue and Instaset on you at the same time?
Or they just light it on fire.
Yeah, or he just drinks it. All right, I'm actually not going to... maybe I'll do it to the cape.
Were you going to say you're not going to airbrush him or something?
I was not... I kind of think maybe what I want to do is not zenithly undercoat the model. And instead paint him in shadow colors and then paint the model in just with layering using different like brightnesses, different opacities of layers. I think John did that in his Tyrannid painting video, which I thought was interesting, and I want to give that a shot. So I got deep blue here, my one true love.
Deep.
From scale 75. And let's just see. Also, maybe we should try out... I don't want to try that out. I was going to say let's try out scale 75's thinner, but it doesn't come in a nice dropper bottle like the AK one. So I'll just finish this up and then put that one in here. See what we get. I can't be the only sloppy bitch getting super glue on their hands constantly like a goon. Yeah, I
No
get it
comment.
on. I get it on my hands. I just never get burnt though. I never feel that sensation of being.
How'd it get burned?
Super glue thingies are the worst. Yeah, it's not fun to glue bits to your hands and stuff. No. Remove super glue with acetone. Hey, Miniac. What up, Apollyon? Maw of the pit.
Super glue debonder. Yeah. I mean, the overall output from a airbrush is much lower than from a spray can. That may not consistently be true for every airbrush ever made, but for stuff that we use in miniature hobbying, the nozzle size is a lot less paint volume. Silly hats only. Yeah, I like that. Coronary Jump says, when I first started the hobby, the GW salesperson told me to buy their plastic glue because, quote, you don't want to glue your fingers together with super glue. And I thought, I'm a big boy, I wouldn't do that. And it was the first thing I did building a model.
Whoops. From Google, there can be extreme heat produced when it reacts with cotton, wool, and sometimes leather. Heat and occasionally even smoke fire can be produced with cyanoacrylate adhesives when they come into contact with natural fibers.
Oh yeah, super glue gets... I was using super glue at the store last week and I caused some smoke with my Q-tips. I like how Scott mutes himself now, but then half the time when he does, he forgets to unmute himself. I don't know if he can hear me, so we don't know what will happen.
Yeah, I think actually in the video where I'm making the Orion diorama, I put super thin super glue on some dried out bark, and it causes the bark to smoke.
I wonder if you can actually, like, start a fire. Fire. He did unmute himself. I also unmuted him. Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking, illusionary voice. I don't know that you can get it quite hot enough to really get a good ignition, but it would be interesting to be like, yeah, it's part of my survival kit. I carry extra thin super glue, so that way I can start a fire.
Will Scott unmute himself? I think I did, right?
You did.
Okay.
I was just, you couldn't hear me, I don't think. I was commenting on, I like how Scott mutes himself now when he airbrushes or hair dryers. But historically, you've forgotten to unmute yourself like half the time when you do that.
I do forget. I just feel like you have so much to do. This is one thing I can take off your plate.
I appreciate that. I do have a button right in front of me for it, actually. So
Okay.
you just have to use your military training and yell, hair drying.
Do you want me to ask you?
You can.
Okay.
I can always just say, I'm too busy.
All right.
I'm switching scenes. Speaking of.
Pushing other buttons.
Oh, yeah. No,
Thank
that
you,
one's
HUD.
still
Appreciate
dead.
it.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Jay. Super glue is actually quite essential to have in what I would call a off-the-grid trauma pack. Has Scott commented on being able to stream to YouTube and Twitch now? I don't know if you saw that over the weekend at TwitchCon. They announced that they're lifting the restriction on simul streaming.
Oh, no. Why don't we do that then?
Uh,
YouTube not allow it?
no, YouTube's fine with it. YouTube doesn't give a shit.
Let's fucking do it then.
The one issue that's still there is we're not. I have to look into this. We will probably do it. AKA Twitch is losing viewers. Maybe. Yeah. I feel that. The thing is, the key advantage for us to streaming to YouTube, at least for me, the biggest advantage was the fact that we could stream there at a higher bit rate. OBS does not allow us to split bit rates. So we would be streaming to YouTube at the same bit rate. And that also means we record at a higher bit rate than what we stream at. So our YouTube quality will actually suffer. On the other hand, we don't have to sit here and wait for a file to upload and process for, hours after the stream. So pros and cons. If we went back to vMix, we could simul-stream at different quality levels. And there might be a way to do it with OBS that I'm not aware of. I just know that the standard thing, its encoding is one block for streaming.
Yeah, because we wouldn't. I wouldn't just want to do a different bit rate. I want to do a different encoder for YouTube.
Yeah, no, but all that comes down to the same thing, that I think it only can send out one RTMP stream.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's something to overcome that limitation. Also, the thing I was saying we have to look into is they said that they weren't going to allow chat combiners.
Okay.
For partners, which is us, because it's our partner.
Just give up, Twitch. Just give up.
Pretty much.
Stop with this ridiculous bullshit. If you're gonna allow us to do something, just let us do the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
What is this bullshit?
I don't know. Like I said, I have to look into it. It might be that the restriction isn't really a restriction or whatever. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So,
yeah.
it came across my desk, but I was busy getting hyped over Star Citizen. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of apps that support combining chats, and maybe what it is we'll just have both chats and we just cross dissolve in between them every 15 seconds, every 45 seconds, every minute, whatever it is, so you can see all of them.
There's nothing that says that we need to have chat on screen.
Yeah.
The other key consideration there actually is you have chat replay on YouTube.
That's true.
As a feature, which is cool, but I don't know that it will replay if we use a chat combiner, if it will replay the stuff that we get from the Twitch chat, or if it'll just be the YouTube chatters. Even if we combine on our end and it's combined in the video, it's not always on screen in the video. Yeah, the foot cam goes on OnlyFans. We'll pick up a separate streaming PC for the OnlyFans stream, so you can have a exclusive video feed of just Scott's toes.
My naked toes. There's so much stuff. Whoa.
Wilhelm the 15th says, I love your videos, man.
Thank you, Wilhelm. I appreciate it.
I love that scream from your great grandfather.
What are you talking about? My great grandfather.
His name is Wilhelm, like the scream.
Oh,
the Wilhelm scream. But he's
okay.
Wilhelm the 15th. So that means that it was his great grandfather.
Okay, we got there. That is a Da Vinci brush, not a Chimera one. Whips. This is also this gigantic Chimera brush. Look at this fucking daddy, dude. Whoo!
Paint your whole menu with that.
Yeah. No. Okay, hold on. There's a brush, and I want it. There it is. Okay, we got the dark blue Euron Greyjoy all done up.
Jay just said something in chat.
What did Jay say?
He said he replied to Pete because Pete said, "Hey Jay, Pete from CMON here," and Jay said, "Hey, cool to run into you here. Been loving A Song of Ice and Fire. We got another one.
We got another one. All right. I'm gonna paint his pants and his sleeves in a khaki color, and I'll just build that up slowly over some layers. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna try to do it, but it probably isn't gonna work. Where I take a khaki color and I just thin it down a lot, and I paint with that thin paint over this blue. I don't think it's gonna work. I don't even want to try, honestly, but I'm going to. We'll grab some Rackhearth flesh and
An all-time classic.
maybe not actually. Maybe, should we? I don't know what paint range is gonna thin down the best. Would it be like more of a AK Interactive Scale 75 Chimera thing, or would it be Citadel? I don't know. Maybe we can try both brands out and just see how we feel. Generally speaking, white paint wants you to love on it and give it many layers of opacity. And so to like skip from dark blue all the way up to this color, like it's not gonna work. I don't think it's gonna work, but I'm gonna try. What about Ultra Krill? Try Ultra Krill too. I don't know if Ultra Krill has just like a khaki color. Obviously you could mix it, but not really in a mixing mood right now. But that might work.
How would you, sorry to interrupt, how would you rate 1 to 10 miniature, oh man, I really didn't think through this sentence at all. Hang on. Give me a second.
Yeah, you're good.
How would you rate from 1 to 10 the material for miniature painting that Song of Ice and Fire miniatures are made out of? Because Tubbikins was asking about the material and how they compare with other brands and so on.
If we wrap up like the sculpting quality in that whole rating, is that what he's asking for? Just dealing with the material, not like the casting quality.
Let's go with both.
5 or 6 out of 10. If GW is 10 out of 10, yeah, we'll say 6 out of 10.
And we're talking on the scale of plastic stuff.
All models.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's paintable. It's doable. You have to work for it a little bit. You have to do interpretation a little bit sometimes, because some things are just hard to see on the model. Some things aren't there at all on the model, and it doesn't clean up nicely. The weapons kind of do, but like that's really only like 1/3 of the battle. Mold lines are very difficult to scrape off, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, like they're definitely paintable. Like there are models like in what's that game? Unmatched. Those models are unpaintable. Like they're bad. They're really fucking bad. Evian is even fucking worse.
Oh yeah, the miniatures in Evian are completely trash.
Yeah, I don't know.
Great game, terrible website. Great developers, terrible miniatures.
Oh, thank you, Pete. Yeah, I mean, I love the game. I've painted plenty of the minis. It's not like stopping me from enjoying the hobby, but like the experience is definitely not as good as other hobby brands. But again, the models are cheaper, so it's like you kind of get what you pay for. So it's not necessarily I don't need the world of CMON to like give me the best fucking models and have them be $35.
Well, I mean, you and I have talked about this on stream before, and I'll just, because Pete's here, I'll say it. I would love to see, for Song of Ice and Fire, faction-based premium miniature packs.
Yeah, that is always a thing that I don't get why people don't do.
Yeah, like the Heroes boxes are very cool and are a great value, you know, because you get the heroes and the cards and all that stuff. I would love to see like the Signature series or whatever, where it's like, here are all of the characters in a completely, you know, like COcast or something like that. A really, really, really fine material that captures every little bit of the sculpt or new sculpts, whatever. And it can be a more expensive, limited run product that it's just like, yep, it's Night's Watch's 3rd anniversary, and here are all the heroes again.
Yeah, that's definitely an option. Another option is you could, there's a board game company called Black Rose Wars who have licensed their IP for the game to display model makers like Chimera, and Chimera then took those concepts and made 75 millimeter resin cast versions of them, and also 32 millimeter resin cast versions, and they are significantly better than the board game ones, understandably, because that's a company that knows what they're doing. So if you're willing to like license out your CMON stuff for like a limited edition product, then you don't got to do any of the work, and you can hand it off to someone else who's reliable. That's an idea.
Well, this also comes down to a license of a license of a license of a license, because we've got George, then Dark Sword, then CMON, then whoever on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
So,
and then fucking HBO, and now apparently Night Models is making a Game of Thrones game as well.
completely separate, because that's based off of the show, which is a whole separate right stack.
Yeah. So, all right, let's see what we can do. What else did I wanted to say though?
I will say that I think the song minis, as far as what you pay for them, are amazing.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Oh, you said that, Pete, you said it was a little bit harder because it's pre-assembled, and that on paper does make sense, but I'm not sure if you've had an opportunity to check out Descent models. Those models are pre-assembled, and they are beautiful models. They are. I don't understand how they do it or who they use, but you can like get that info and just use the same person. I don't know what it is. I'd be happy to get a model out for you. Oh, it's at home actually. I can't do that. But maybe on a later stream, send you some photos, something like that. It's incredible what those models look like. I don't understand it. I would say they're as good as GW stuff, but they suffer in the world of concepts. So like their concepts aren't as good as GW's, but the casting quality is still pretty incredible. Okay, half opaque layer over dark blue looks kind of trash. Shadows look very dark, very stark. Cyocast always has casting flaws though. Yeah, sometimes. All right, awesome. Thanks, Pete. Appreciate you.
That we do.
But I mean, yeah, it's important to know that we understand like the value and the target audience that song has. We're not trying to turn it into Games Workshop. All right, so I'm gonna just keep adding layers of highlights here. Where I would add highlights. Top of the kneecap, top of the thigh, leave some of these recessed shades. It looks okay, actually. All right, let's try it again on one of the sleeves. Doesn't look stark to me. Nice.
Oh.
Of course, but it never hurts to know you can do better. It's actually more helpful that knowing you do well. It's actually more helpful than knowing what you do well. Oh, sure, for sure. Yeah, I got you. All right, let's try on a sleeve again. To avoid, when you add a lot of water to paint, it wants to act like a wash. And to avoid that, I'm just dabbing it off my paper here, just to avoid flooding the surface.
Is your paper moist or dry?
It is, it's wet in this case. So moist. That was very diluted. I don't know. I probably went a little bit too hardcore with the dilution on this example. But we'll see. I'll let that arm dry. Maybe that was a bit too diluted. Let's mix a bit more paint. This is the process that no YouTube video can teach you. Trying to figure out like the minutia of a technique.
Hey, Scott, look at your monitor for a second.
It's very dark.
I know, I froze it, which darkens the screen, but you said this is the process that no miniature video can teach you, and then you occluded the mini with the back of your head.
All right, I'll do better about that. You can just tell me when it happens, and I can fix it.
It was just really funny timing.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, yeah, exactly how much dilution to use, stuff like that. Like no video is gonna be able to tell you that info perfectly. Maybe a little bit more paint mixed in. It's still looking like the exact same brightness as the other side. So I'll add a little bit more paint.
I'm just waiting for the day that Scott says, "Here, watch this,"
Yeah.
and then that is exactly when he blocks it.
Yeah. The trick is just to never to say, "Watch this."
Indeed.
Just like when I layer normally. All right, look at this. Look at this tip. Look at this tip. I don't want brushes to do this. This is fucking annoying. We're gonna keep trying. I don't know if it's my fault. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I'm like trying to like push the tip down on like a surface that's like causing the bristles to splay. I don't know. I'm also painting over like, okay, so like there's like a really deep pocket of fabric right there, and I'm keeping the blue around. I'm keeping the blue around in that deep recess, but there's also a ton of other recesses that I just ran right over, and I'll keep that around when I paint with thicker and more opaque paint. I'll also say something else. They said that one of the brushes they sent me was broken. What did they say? I'll just say it on stream, just so you guys know what I'm dealing with here. They said, we checked the size 0. I'm using a size 0. And it seems they made a mistake on the construction of these beta testers. Try it, but it's highly possible that the 0 arrow is wrong. I said, what was wrong with it? They said, if the brush splits, you'll notice. It shouldn't split. Just compare the behavior with 2. Okay, so it's splitting. Maybe there was a manufacturing issue with the beta ones, so not gonna hold it against them. Totally fine. Just gonna move on and use the other brush. Let's use the big one. Let's use the Big Daddy one, big chisel one. They said that this should be how the chisel brush should work. And it's the same thing, but just bigger, but it's got a nice sharp tip, and so I should be able to paint really anything with that, maybe barring things like faces and like fingertips and stuff.
Is 2606 wants to know if you've seen the new Ravaged Star campaign and what you think of it.
Yeah, I watched John's video that he had sponsored from them. It seems all right. I'm not like super into 40K, and it seems like these are models you can buy as proxies for 40K. I know it has its own game. I do realize that.
Going back to our conversations earlier about 3D printing and third-party models and stuff, you may not be able to use these as proxies for 40K.
Right. Yeah. True. It seems okay, but yeah, it's not like a thing that I'm like super jazzed about. Sci-fi war games, sci-fi large army war games.
I don't know. It's got space dwarves, so I'm sold.
Space dwarves. All right, let's mix a little bit more water in here. Yeah, some brushes do split. You are right. Apollyon, Maw of the Pit. But in this case, they explicitly said that the size brush that I was using was going to have splitting problems. So I'll take them at their word.
Seems... I mean, I see this piece of art, and I'm like, yeah, that looks cool.
Oh, it's like a movie poster.
Yep.
That's fun.
It's like one of them posters for the things I see on the TV.
TV.
Damn right, Xanderzone. Rockin' Stone. It's pretty much how it works, Mike Genie. You had tubes and it's in space. It is known. Jetpacks also. I don't know. Some of this stuff, I'm looking through the minis right now. Man, there's a lot of videos. Oh my god.
Carl would approve of this.
See a coronary. The Deep Rock Galactic payout.
Hell yeah.
There are some, oh.
STL models available for the painting competition for free. I like free STLs. I like paid STLs too. They've got a variety of models here. I will say that a lot of these are very busy. If you like to paint with contrast paints, you'll like these models. If you don't, you might want to kill yourself.
I think I said that in the interview, sans the "you're gonna want to kill yourself." When he interviewed me at Adepticon, I was like, these models are very suited for dry brushing and using contrast paints just because of the amount of detail on them. But for display model painting, they would be a real bear to try to paint. And I mean, if I'm looking at these models now, that's definitely still the case. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, dude. I imagine, how long did it take to sculpt these models? Holy shit.
I mean, these are pretty cool, but yeah, definitely I would be taking some shortcuts.
Oh yeah.
And then we're into the videos. All right.
Like the way that Jay painted them. And he did a Ravage Star video. That's how I would. I imagine you can't really paint him in any other way, really.
Yeah. Yeah. John's video also was, taking shortcuts and airbrushing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, particularly if you're painting a big army of, whatever. Space, orcs, dwarves, chaos, demon.
Demon!
Demons.
Evil!
52 Miniatures did a video on it, which is new space dwarves for Warhammer. And to which I say, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And I do like the dwarf sculpts. Definitely not Tyranids versus space dwarves. I don't need more stuff.
More stuff.
Oh god, the space dwarves also have giant robots? I don't need more stuff. Scott, why didn't you do a video on this so I could have some space dwarves?
Do you want some? I'm sure Dave would be more than happy to send them our way.
Dave Pliss. I don't need more stuff, but I would not say no to more stuff. Here's what I need. I need someone to make a war game, and maybe I just make this war game, that there are no factions other than dwarves. It's just like there are other things in the setting, but the dwarves are just in a constant state of civil war while everyone else just like looks on and watches.
You want Horus Heresy, but for dwarves?
Exactly. 100%.
Zambies comes in and says, you do in fact need more stuff. What up? Oh, thank you. The delivery. Trip did send that image, and I did put it in the Kickstarter post. Okay, cool. The Dwarfist Heresy?
The Dwarf Heresy.
Oops, all dwarves.
See, I'd only seen John's video diving into it before this, and I was like, yeah, these definitely not Tyranids are really sweet, but I'm not super in need of definitely not Tyranids. But now I'm looking at all these space dwarves, and it's causing problems.
What are you guys thinking?
Arby's?
Uh,
That hasn't been their ad campaign for like a decade, and it's still burned into my mind.
Oh, when Ollie and Kira were here, we discussed Dr. Pepper ad campaigns that I had no idea existed. And it was like One of them was Dr. Pepper. What's the worst that could happen? Like, it's like, how did you make that choice? That's one of them.
I mean,
There was
that's
another
pretty
one.
awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, there was another one that was equally as ridiculous. It was like kind of low key shitting on Dr. Pepper, but it was like their own branding. It was hilarious. They have the meats. Yeah, that's the Arby's one that I'm familiar with. Can we get another take of that? I need more Coke logo. What's up?
Just me.
Yeah.
Is it clean? Yeah, I did some cleanup.
Scott cleaned to impress his guests.
And then he yelled at me.
I did yell at Scott because he disconnected a bunch of my cables.
A bunch?
At least 3.
I disconnected one that gets regularly used.
At least 3. The ones that don't get regularly used do get irregularly used. And I don't like crawling around to try and figure out which ports it's supposed to plug into every time.
I love doing that.
I look forward to making you crawl around.
Okay, what do we think about this? Oh, they were adverts in England. I knew I hadn't ever heard them.
Oh, yeah, no, these definitely are not American ad campaigns.
Okay, there was another one that was really weird. I was just like, what? All right. Okay, chat, what do we think about this? I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more.
Right.
Oh, I kind of missed a highlight. I'm gonna get some more thinned down paint. What do we think about this technique, or rather the results of the technique? So this is Rakarth flesh, just straight on top of deep blue, which I would never ever do. It's very difficult to get it to look not chalky and shitty. Here's the backside of the elbow. And there is like some transition going on, right? You have like this more neutral grayish blue, and then a more khaki color, and then this very dark deep blue color. Do we liking this? Is this good enough for army painting? I'm inclined to say that it's definitely good enough for army painting. But I don't know. I would rather be better looking than this. But it would probably take longer. I don't know. That kind of took a decent amount of time to do. For army painting, definitely, I dig it. It looks intentional and sketchy. It's difficult to kind of learn how much you can get away with, you know? So let's try just taking that same deep blue color. So we really are just using one color now. Thin it down a lot to a glaze, and then we will glaze toward the shadows. Okay, that was definitely too thin. Okay, a little bit more paint. Dab it off again in the wet spot of my palette. Come to the other side of the thigh and just paint toward the shadows. The sides of the cylinder. Paint down the arms. Maybe that'll help a little bit with some of that kind of fuzziness that you get from painting a bright color over such a dark color. Also, maybe I can like reestablish some recessed shades that are like way too thin. Or way too shallow to have a dark line, you know? I can like paint like that area. Well, that's making it look real nice. When you add just a little, when you get the dilution right on a glaze, and the world is working out, like you got a nice matte paint to glaze top of, it really does a lot very quickly. I wish I knew more how to glaze, because that is killing it so fast. So nice to glaze on top of bright colors. Just takes a color so nicely. Okay, I'm definitely happy with that. after a little bit of corrective glazing, like there's a little bit. You know, that's killer. Thank you, Slurgical. Love that name. Whoa, Kickstarter update from Scott, but you're streaming. Yeah, I often will write an update and then have my wife check it for grammar and stuff. And then when she approves it, she'll post it. So I wrote it earlier today before stream. All right, cool. Love that. Looks good. I'm still getting some splitting with the big one, but not a ton. Not like to the point where it's like frustrating to work with. So that's good. Thank you, Tony Stark. Thank you, Tenshi Voodoo. What's your opinion on glazed medium versus water? Worth it? I would say not worth it. Just because I don't personally use it or ever need it. But like, who knows? Maybe if I were to use it, it'd work out great. And I'd be like, wow, why am I missing out on this, you know?
I like glazed medium.
I get away with it. That's what I'll say.
I used it for the first time while doing Colossus, and I found it very useful.
Yeah, I mean, in my comparison, I did a glazing video, and I compare the mediums versus water, and it's very clear the glazed mediums is doing something. The question is it doing enough to justify breaking it out for miniature painting? Like miniature painting is so small that often, like small differences in products don't really show up on a model painting. But maybe it would make the painting easier for me. You know, who knows?
So because I was on GameFound, I scrolled to the bottom of the page for Ravage Star, and they had the other projects you might be interested in, and I saw The Witcher Path of Destiny. They crossed $2 million for this game. Holy crap.
Who's making this game?
I don't know. Yeah, who is their partner? CD Projekt like red logo, and what's on the other side?
Ooh, Captain McLean. Maybe it's like there's an argument where it'd make more sense to use those products on like larger figures, like display models and busts, because that stuff would show up more, or it would take more time to cover up the sins of not using it. So like maybe there's some kind of argument there, but like if it makes the process easier, who cares if it doesn't show up? If it makes it easier, then it's good enough of a reason to use. I don't know. I think the classic answer here, the classic Miniac answer here is your mileage may vary, and you gotta figure it out for yourself. It's not very helpful, but those are all my thoughts about it. All right, let's mix some Yosonia Titanium White with this Rakarth Flesh, just to get a little boosted highlight on the arm sleeves specifically.
Oh, actually, if you're gonna reframe, give me a second. I'm gonna reset us.
Oh yeah, hold on. I'm way too zoomed in.
Yeah, while you were zoomed in, I was kind of sliding around to keep it in perfect frame. So
appreciate that.
This is center.
That and Dice Forge and Marvel got me this month for. Oh, dude, yeah, I saw the X-Men for. Wait, no, that's not. That's Dice Throne.
Dice Throne.
Never mind. Yeah, me and Ollie and Kira played Dice Throne, and they immediately loved it and stocked it in their store. So now if you go to the Broadsword Wargaming website, game store in Ireland, you can pick up Dice Throne, at least at some point in the future.
Marvel is coming to MTG, and I couldn't possibly be more excited, says Mike Genie.
Coming to what?
Magic the Gathering.
Oh, okay.
They also announced a collab set of Fallout cards, and I was like, oh, this is going to all be lame Bethesda Fallout stuff, and then, no, one of them is a Fallout New Vegas Caesar's Legion deck, and I instantly messaged Dan. I was like, put me down for this. I need this.
Nice.
Dog Meat Commander is pretty funny too, but no, Caesar's Legion. That's all that matters. Yahweh true to Kaiser. Man, if these miniatures come out half as good as these sculpts look for this Witcher game, I might have to pick it up.
Who's making the game?
I'm trying to figure that out right now.
Because I can give you a pretty good idea if it's going to be good or not.
That's a great point. A sad but great point.
If it's a company you never heard of, I got bad news for you.
You know, you say that, but like I had never heard of that company that made the Deep Rock Galactic board game, and I'm actually, when I went through those miniatures, I was pretty happy. So
You're not allowed to be happy.
I know, right? Certainly how it feels sometimes.
Okay, let's test. I hate that. I hate yellowy browns. Turns out it's another Broken Apple crowdfund Kappa. Yeesh.
Rip.
I talked to Chris recently, and he's like really irate with like the treatment he's been getting on the internet, and he seems to be pretty convinced that he is going to accomplish fulfilling these campaigns. If that means anything to anyone out there, I don't know if it does. But yeah, he's still committed to fulfilling Broken Anvil campaigns, which is fantastic to hear. Obviously, the alternative is not good to hear. All right, now let's paint these gloves. The gloves will be a lot easier to paint because we'll use brown, and brown's a much lower value color. And then we'll use that same brown on other parts. Let's see here. Let's think about this. Gloves, not a bad idea. Boots, belt, and then this shawl thing that's like under his main cape.
It's being made by Go On Board. They made Titans and Valhalla.
Poor Chris from All Gravy Games. Let's do a really red brown here. We'll do whole red. I'll grab another one just in case I don't. Also, reddish black is that's too red. I think that's too red. Okay, so yeah, obviously this experience is going to be different based on how dark the color you're going to layer with is in comparison to what the base coat is. Like if it's not as dark, or if the gap isn't as big, then it's going to be easier to do this kind of like layering. Hey Miniac, what do you recommend to motivate yourself to paint? I'm overwhelmed by my pile of shame. I feel like, I don't think I'm the best person to ask, because I'm like, I haven't been personally painting at home for a while, so I'm lacking some motivation as well. But maybe there are so many things in my head that like are just stuck in my head, and I'm so excited to do them. But as a YouTuber, I can't do them right away because I have other things that I have to finish first. But if I was a normal person, I would just let my muse guide me all the fucking time. I would do whatever I wanted to do all the time. I would not care about armies getting painted. I would not care about being ready for events. I would just do whatever I wanted to do. Maybe that's not helpful. Maybe you don't have things in your head that you really want to do, but you feel like you shouldn't do because like you have other responsibilities. Like, oh, I should finish my army before I start painting this display model. It's like, no, fuck that shit. Just paint the display model. Like, who cares if you have a million work in progress things? If that's a problem, you can discover that later on and you can work to solve it then. But for now, just paint what you want to paint. I don't know if that's helpful though. There you go, Moondon. Also, frame of mind is a worthwhile discussion. You can look at that pile of shame as a pile of opportunity, as Moondon says. If you need motivation, I would suggest you just finish a miniature and finish another, and then that should motivate you to do more. Mike says, it's about not buying new stuff until I get the backlog done. Like, if I'm not passionate about this stuff that I had to buy, then I shouldn't be buying more stuff. I get that, Mike, but I feel like that's like the road to your hobby becoming a job, even while not making any money doing it. It's like, if I feel like I don't deserve to buy other models because I haven't finished what I purchased, I get that. I do get that. But then it's like, I feel like that's like the road to hobby death in a way. It's like, then you are doing things you don't want to do. Maybe it comes down to like, when you buy a thing, only buy a thing like on the day you plan to start painting it. So it's like, you get some progress done. I have this problem where I buy shit all the time for like projects that may happen. It's like, oh yeah, sick Dark Eldar unit that's cheap, I'll get
stabbed.
that Dark Eldar cheap unit because I'm gonna paint a Dark Eldar army at some point. It's like, no, only buy a thing when you're gonna go home, open it, and assemble it, or do some kind of hobbying on it right away. Is that a good rule of thumb? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, like, I've done that kind of thing, and it still stalls, right? Where I'm like, I buy the new Warcry box because I really, really dig the Stormcast that are in it, right? And I build them like that day, and they've been gray plastic for 3 months or whatever.
Yeah.
Or more. I don't know when that box came out. And it just happens.
Yeah. It does happen.
Lately, I've only been allowing myself to buy a model after I've played another round of that game. That way I only buy stuff for games I'm actively playing. I think there's a key approach thing to all of this that kind of comes down to, Vince often talks about the psychographic profiles for what kind of gamer you are, what you enjoy in playing a game. And I think that there's a similar consideration to the aspects of the hobby that you enjoy. I think that there's a number of people that only play war games because they actually just enjoy painting. And vice versa, there's a lot of people that don't actually enjoy painting that just do it because they enjoy wargaming so much. So figuring out like what you value can help inform what actually motivates you.
Yes. Hungerford had a great rule for engaging in the hobby. Only buy the smallest intro level possible for a game. Paint it and play it. Then you buy more. Amazing how much you can save. True.
Or, and hear me out, you buy everything released for the whole game across all factions. And then you just keep playing your one faction all the time. Why do you do it that way? I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. Moodon91 subscribed to Tier 1, 3 months.
Hey!
Says, I'm trying to do my new year, new army. Halfway through my World Eaters, waiting to use a couple vacation days to have a long weekend and just slap on some contrasts around to get them into battle-ready condition. My friends' World Bearers need a good slap on the butt cheeks from some cute little chainsaws.
Well, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it, Moondon. Good luck with finishing your army. My favorite trick is the old, I'll just sit for like 15 minutes and see if I still feel like painting after that. Yeah.
Well, one of my earliest takeaways from you guys' podcast, from Trapped Under Plastic, available on all podcasting platforms, was the old, like, just pick up your brush and use it for something every day.
Yeah.
I did that for quite a while, and it worked very well. But then I've also fallen into this routine over the last year. It's been very rare for me to not paint when I'm not at the game store or here. Like, I've painted on stream a few times when you've been out of town or indisposed or whatever. And I've painted at the source most Mondays. And I've painted at home like twice. And I'm actively in the stage of getting back into the routine of doing stuff at home. I've been printing a bunch of stuff that's going to have to get painted, and it's going to have to get painted at home because there's no way I'm ever finishing it if I just paint one day a week. But that picking up the brush every day thing carried me through like 3 months of hobbying, where it was just like, yep, it's after dinner. I'm just going to see what I can get done. Some days it was just quite literally I paint for 15 minutes, and some days it was like I would sit down and paint for 6 hours. Not about motivation. It was just like, this is the time slot.
Yeah.
Every day when I get up, before the rest of the family's moving or whatever, I'm going to paint, that kind of thing.
Definitely a valid approach to the hobby.
Just depends on what you want out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in a little bit of a slump right now for my personal hobby, so I haven't been really doing anything at home. But man, there's a lot of things that I would love to do. But I just feel a little bad that I'm not doing the things that I should be doing. So I just don't do anything. It's not good.
Reject obligation. Embrace nothingness.
I mean, I might as well if I'm not doing anything anyways, Like if I'm not gonna hobby at all or hobby on the things that I want to do at home, might as well fucking do the things that I want to do. Right.
When we were talking about gaming earlier, one of the most frustrating things to me as I've gotten older, I spend more and more time in front of my computer not playing games. Where I go, I'm going to play a game, and I sit down at my computer to play a game, and then like 3 hours have passed and I've done nothing. Like I've hopped on Discord and chatted with a couple people and looked at my email and watched a YouTube video. And I'm like, yeah, but I sat down to like play something or do something. I had a plan in mind, and time is just evaporating into nothingness.
Nothingness.
Don't like that.
I also did not like that. Okay. Yeah, the brown leather obviously was a lot easier to work with the blue because of how it's not super bright. And then maybe I just paint the cape. The cape and the whatever, the skirt thing.
Crotch cape.
Crotch cape. And then he has another
It's a
crotch.
technical term.
He has another crotch cape immediately below the primary crotch cape that I'll paint in a different color.
That one below is probably his gambeson.
His gambeson, yes, of course. Sometimes the thing you should be doing is nothing. It might be a sign you just need to chill. That is also an incredibly valid thing as well. And something that my therapist has told me in the past, where it's like, normally your body is trying to reach equilibrium all the time. And so if you just feel like doing nothing, that's just what your body is telling you want to do. But then I'm like, wait, is that like, am I like reverse psychologying myself into like doing nothing or doing something? I really get in this weird headspace where I'm like, that's just an excuse to be lazy, you know? And then I just feel bad about doing nothing. Because I'm like, oh, that's just an excuse. I should want to do something, but I don't want to do something, so I don't do something. And I get sad. It's fucking dumb. It's so dumb. Seems like a slippery slope. Exactly, Thought-Smith. See? Now, is that attitude toxic, like working attitude, the one that Flossmith has? That it's a slippery slope that your body wants to reach equilibrium? Or is it true? Like, who knows? I don't know who to believe. All right. What blue color should we use for his crotch cape and his main cape? Could do like a teal. I feel like I want to keep it dark. So maybe what I do is I'll start with black. I'll do like a black shadow first, and then from there, I'll start to highlight it. So I'll make it darker first. Let's see if you can do the reverse. I should be working on my Araby steel helm conversion video, but I've been binge watching Halloween movies in my life. It sounds like a lot of fun. You are overthinking this. Just pay more minis. Both can be coping techniques, doing nothing and keeping busy. See ya. Flossmith says, you can tell yourself, how can you tell if you are just rationalizing with yourself? I don't know. But like, I am very in my head about a lot of things, and that's one of the things that I'm in my head about. It's just like, what's the right amount of work to be doing, the right amount of relaxing to be doing?
I have allocated exactly 3.4 hours of relaxation.
Right, yeah. Like, like professional athletes specifically have resting times so that they are able to perform well when they perform. Like that is a known fact. And so what's the correct amount of rest, you know, like, and the correct amount of work so that humans are performing optimally? Surely someone's done this research before. That's like what I'm thinking about, you know?
It certainly seems like the thing that motivates you the most when you're not just painting for work, right? Because that's a big piece of this, right? You're painting this Greyjoy army because you have an obligation next month.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, you want a painted Greyjoy army, but it wouldn't necessarily be, I'm just going to keep painting this if you were Scott without YouTube channel Scott, right?
I might paint a bunch of characters. Like
you might, right? But I'm just saying you probably wouldn't just like all in on Greyjoy for a month and a half.
No, definitely not.
It does seem like you're most motivated by I played a game and I enjoyed it, and now I want to paint things for that game, like with your Shatterpaint minis.
Yeah.
Shatterpoint, whatever.
I think that's been very true.
Yeah.
I play a game, it's a lot of fun. I want to make things for that game.
Well, I wouldn't even say that that's lately. Like, even before I knew you, your video about Song of Ice and Fire is also kind of about that. About getting motivated in the hobby again because you're enjoying playing that game so much.
Yeah.
You know, that video's from what, 2019? 2020?
I can't remember.
This beginning of pandemic? Here, let me look.
That video was so weird. I thought that was a throwaway video in about a game that no one gave a shit about, and then it got like 150K views, or I don't even know how many it got. But it was like, it really was surprising.
It's about that passion.
I guess so. Up until that point, I was so hesitant to talk about things that I liked that would sound like an ad. And I got some people in that video that were kind of shitting on me, saying like, "Oh, this is just an ad." But like genuinely, I just want to make a video about a product that I liked.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're going to get the opposite of that too, where if you say anything negative about it, it's because you're biased and shill and whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Which we saw with the AOS video and any number of other stuff where it's just like...
Yeah.
Comment sections are very good at one thing consistently, which is jumping to conclusions.
Yeah.
All right, this is the video about painting Jon Snow, but I think... Was that before or after?
Definitely before.
Yeah, I thought so. Like, you got this stuff and then later revisited it because you had it around or whatever?
Because Curtis wanted to play it.
Yeah. The Jon Snow video was...
It's called My New Favorite Miniature War Game.
In 2019, yeah, I know. Oh my god, I can't type. Minotaur War Game, eh? All right.
Groglock says, the skirt is called there's no way I can say that word, Neve Keats paints. Groglock says, let's change the pace of the conversation. Instead, let me tell you about what I'm excited about. I have full Battlefield Sector Imperialis board, big 2x2 tiles that got discontinued, and I'm going to have a big diorama of Ultramarines versus Death Guard. That's the end goal anyways. I mean, that sounds cool, man. That sounds like a lot of fun if that's what you're jamming on. Like,
holy shit, this video was only 2 years ago.
Nice.
September 6, 2021. And it was, I clicked on that ready to bitch about the thing that I was bitching about last week, where it said 2 years ago. And I was like, I bet it's going to be like 2 years and 11 months. And it's like, no, it's actually like 2 years ago. Cool. Help I'm Stucks says, I caught one of your streams and there was much rejoicing. Indeed there was. Everyone rejoice, for Help I'm Stucks is here.
And then they ate Robin's Minstrels. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well too. Because Deep Blue is so dark.
Deep.
I'm like I'm painting in really stark shadows with this black because you can't really tell like that they're not blended super well.
See you later, Max, damn it.
See you, Max, damn it. Here's your This is the problem with acrylic paint. It doesn't cure fast enough to be able to use it as a primer. But if you give it time, I think it's more than okay. It's pronounced Terujus. Terujus. If I did that wrong.
Probably.
I struggle with white primer. Any suggestions?
Don't use white primer.
Yeah, white primer is like only useful in very specific situations. But to answer your question, you're probably struggling with the primer drying before it hits the model. And so I would suggest priming when it's not super dry outside, so like when it's more humid. I would also suggest getting closer to the model so the paint particles have less air time to travel through the air and dry mid-air and then stick to the model as a little tiny ball. Yeah.
Yeah, the airbrush whites can be pretty varied.
I was thinking of that rattle can.
Yeah, they said airbrush white primer though.
Oh, okay, then I don't know.
If you're using a rattle can, I've used a few different brands, and by far my favorite is the Tamiya Steph. I totally lost my train of thought.
Okay, that was good enough. Didn't do a whole lot. Just darkened down the blue, so now I can do a very sparing highlight of like a mid-tone blue, and that'll be good enough for like a very big and important detail in the model. Okay. The question is, what paint should we use? My favorite color, bearing blue, is actually at my house because I was using it for painting my drowned men. Remember, I forgot to bring it back. Maybe we just use Cantabric blue and then anthracite gray.
I thought it was anthracite.
I don't know. Is that how you pronounce that word? Anthracite?
I think it is. Okay. Chat will chime in and they'll agree with both of us. Inevitably.
Currently painting an Underworld's Warband with every color build up from purple.
Yep, cool.
I'm going for a yellow coat. Oops, and I'll first be building up purple to a snakebite leather as color before going to a bright yellow. Any suggestions for another mid-step that would work out better? Yeah, probably brown, like a yellowy brown would probably be good.
I mean, that's basically what snakebite is, right?
Yeah, but a more like an ochre maybe. I don't know if snakebite's. I don't know if snakebite's super ochre-y, but ochre is like a very brown yellow.
Yeah, that's actually because snakebite's been multiple things from GW over the years.
Yeah, it's been like a contrast paint, a normal paint, like an ink and shit.
Yeah,
maybe not. Never an ink. I don't
know. Because the contrast that I'm thinking of is a very high saturation value brown. So it's a yellow red brown that's got a lot of juice to it.
Juice.
Baylor brown is ochre. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Anthracite. Yeah, I'm correct. Thanks, Frontier.
His name is Frontier. Get it right?
That's what I said.
Lies. My dropper bottles fucking get clogged all the goddamn time.
Maybe it's free and tier.
Just mix purple and yellow together. Yes, that is also a totally valid solution. I painted some moss on the base of my Ranger, and I started with a magenta, and I built it up to a green, a lime green, and it looks nasty and muddy in the middle when I was mixing the paint, but obviously you get to both ends nicely, and you create a very nice color. So it's possible.
Helpheim Stux, I'm Evan. I'm Scott's live stream producer and resident Stormcast player. Sorry, Stormcast supremacist.
Yes.
The best army in AOS.
going to try to add a thick edge highlight to the bottom of the clothing where it's very black. I find that looks nice. I think this Cantabric blue is not mixed very well, like with the medium. I think I got more medium than I got paint, and so the paint isn't covering super well. All right, if I plan to paint a model right after I prime it with acrylic paint, I think I really need to not. I think I just need to not do that. I think it's not, because like I'm wiping paint off all over this model, and that is not fun to deal with. Yeah, it's definitely a nice blue, yeah. It almost looks like the old GW paint Regal Blue. I used to use that paint all the time when I was painting my Middenheim models. I feel like I don't need to do really any highlighting under the cloak. That's just extra. Typing so much.
Yeah, I got messaged on the Evian Discord. So I was replying. Ongoing conversations on there. That's actually true, Mike Genie. My dragon's colors were quite literally Spyro colors.
Didn't think about that.
Yeah, they're like armor plates, whatever you call it. Not like the actual armor on them. I mean, like the dragon itself has like some hard spots on the fronts of its legs and stuff, are the same sort of gold color that Spyro has, and then the skin is the same sort of purple. I selected it based off of Spyro.
You did, actually?
Uh-huh. Because I couldn't figure out what color to paint them, and Britt suggested, why not Spyro? And I said, that's a great idea. My hero dragons will probably be painted different colors. I'm almost certainly getting my hands on the new guy.
Can I have the dragon?
No, because he goes on the dragon.
You can find another dragon.
You can find another dragon.
I'll pay you half for it.
No. Even though I really just want a bigger dragon. Here's the video that I want to make. Commissioning someone to make the same sculpt as GW, but bigger. Because if you look at the picture of that guy on the dragon on the book, the dragon is like twice the size on the book cover. And then whoever got the company was like, yeah, we're not doing another giant dragon. It's going to be mid-size. So he's just on like the same size as the Stormdrake Guard, but he looks like he's riding on like Grandis or one of those other gigantic super dragons.
Super dragon. more bigger brushes for this part. The cloak.
Using an airbrush is cheating.
Is someone asking?
No. Brush control supremacy.
That's someone's name.
No, that's what Help I'm Stuck said. So you got one, Pete, but you haven't got it out yet? Come on. Don't be a coward. I believe in you. You just have to get the reps in. Get that airbrush out and get it up to pressure.
He's back.
Hello, I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger and I'm here to teach you how to airbrush. Harder and Steenbeck.
That works well. Oh yeah, I'm using the one that's apparently broken.
Jay, are you trolling Scott right now?
Jay is trolling me?
He says, your first army was Soulblight, second army Greyjoy. How is your 40k Space Marine army coming?
Ain't happening, Jay.
Scaver says, hey, Scott and Evan, thanks for getting me into Song.
Hell yeah.
2 minis painted so far for his Night's Watch army. He's
Nice.
posted them both on the Discord, by the way.
Oh, nice, Gaver. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that it's like you're actually progressing with the army. What did you end up painting? What were your first choices?
He painted a Sworn Brother that I saw and gave him a little tiny bit of feedback on. And then I think the second one was a Watch Captain, right?
Nice.
Retro Evil, the reason that we don't do Orktober is because there are no orcs in Song of Ice and Fire.
Is someone asking why I'm not painting orcs? Any particular reason? I just don't like painting orcs. Also, like, man, there's just so much shit I have to do all the time that, like, if I did get an opportunity to paint whatever I wanted to paint, I would just paint, like, you know, what I really want to paint and not, like, what I should paint for, like, an event. It's like Evan was like, what are we going to do for Halloween? And I was like, nothing, because I have to finish this grade.
And then I was like, wrong answer.
Yeah, if I'm going to, like, paint what I want to paint ever, it's not going to be, like, for an event or something like that. Because the point of this stream isn't to, like, feel obliged to paint anything, even though, like, I am obliged to paint Greyjoy, and I'm doing that right now. It's just it's supposed to be to paint whatever I want to paint, which often is not how it works out. That's the goal. And, like, I've never really been super interested in painting orcs.
I like orcs, I just don't like GW orcs.
I like the sneaky ones.
Yeah, I shouldn't be that blanket with it. I don't like most of GW's orc range. There are some things that I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I do like the junk aesthetic. You know, like the orc robots and stuff, that's fun to me. Mostly because I absolutely would be the guy that's like, I'm not buying any kits. I'm just going to take garbage and throw it on the table and call it an army.
Knowing me, though, I'm just, like, waiting for someone to describe the lore of orcs in the right way.
The lore or gameplay to get you excited?
Yeah, because, like, I watched Jay's video where he painted a bunch of orcs, and I was like, he described one of the factions as like a a smarter orc faction that like uses tactics and doesn't like cling to all these bizarre orc isms. And I was like, oh, okay, I could probably get behind painting that. I don't know. Maybe that's not. Maybe there's more to it than that. That's what it feels like. Again, I don't know what I like. Maybe at some point I will like orcs. I mean, I did at one point. I bought a fucking orc army. And painted the majority of it. Okay. We got some blue highlights down on his cloak. They start looking crazy. I'm partial to Goths, but only for the Gaz and Yarick relationship. But would you paint the orc skin green or something else?
Purple.
I don't know. Probably paint it whatever, but I'd probably lean toward green.
You know, one of the minis that you seemed to enjoy painting on stream the most in the last year or whatever is probably that. He's not an orc. He's some other big dude from Cursed City.
Oh, the ogre?
Yeah, the ogre guy.
Yeah, ogres are fun to paint.
And I do think there are a lot of orc sculpts that kind of satisfy that same sort of thing. Lots of big rippling muscles.
Yeah, you're right. Lots of fun volumes to paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Still want to finish that one, by the way. I'm pretty close to finishing all of Cursed City, actually. Well, not that close, but pretty close.
That's cool. Scavers, I did sign up for a miniature, whatever, what do they call them? Tribes on
Oh, yeah.
My Mini Factory for some orcs this month because this guy, I'll give him a shout out, Mecha Miniatures, is making a bunch of pirate orcs right now.
Nice.
Like, they've made a bunch of orcs for the last few years, and now they're on to pirates. And spoilers, that's part of my theme. And I'm like, I'm not doing a whole crew of orcs or anything, but there could definitely be a couple of fun little gobos. So I bought some of his stuff. I'll, hang on. Yeah, these are pretty sweet. I would definitely say they're worth checking out.
Pirate orcs, you say?
Yeah, pirate orcs and goblins, and he's like got the aesthetic down. Here, hang on. That's very annoying. Scroll. There we go. Here's this guy. Pirate artillery. This was what got me to buy.
Fucking 4 cannons. I love how there's like so many cannonballs too in the cannons.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you just need more. I love the little tiny goblins, like pointing and lighting stuff. The one drinking on the cannon.
Yeah,
It's great.
that is great.
This is very useful stuff for me. These probably all will make appearances in my force. And then yeah, this one also, the Napoleonic orc.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun stuff. So I would say if you're into the Orctober thing, this is his most recent release. Here's another one that's cannons on cannons. Hell yeah.
So are the flames also part of the sculpt?
The sculpt has with shooting and no shooting, and the shooting thing looks like this. So
Yeah. Okay, cool.
and he live streams his sculpting sessions too, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that is cool.
So
And thank you for the, what is it called when someone says happy birthday to you? What's the noun form of that?
congratulations.
Thanks for the salutation.
Congratulatory statements of
Congratulations.
yeah.
Appreciate it. 5 Everos.
There is a shark squig thing. There's a lot of good stuff here. Definitely worth checking out. He has previous sets too. He does the modular thing. If you're into Orktober, this is my Orktober thing for this year. I have orcs now.
Your Orktober thing is buying orcs?
My Orktober thing is buying pirate orcs, of which I will use like 4 of them.
I can do that too.
Yeah. They're pretty cool. My 3D printer has been working hard recently.
3D printer go burr?
3D printer go burr.
Okay. I like a very dark blue thing going on right now. Not I don't know. It seems fine. Not in love with it. I don't hate it. Got the bandaging on his legs. I wonder if we can do something with the bandaging that then also is going to appear somewhere else on the model, or if it should have just been the same cream khaki color that I did earlier. I probably just. Is it? Is it? All right.
Also, we didn't really talk about it, but Poland had their Song of Ice and Fire Nationals over the weekend.
Oh yeah.
172 players was their official head count.
God damn, dude. Poland is pulling up more numbers than the United States of America. What is going on?
Yeah, 3 times as many. What's going on is, I don't know, Poland plays war games. You know who won?
Greyjoy!
You got it.
Oh, I knew it because the way you said it.
Yeah.
Yes.
They pulled it out. I mean, Night's Watch was in the position to win and did not win the 7th game. 7 rounds.
What was the list?
Let me pull it up.
While you're pulling it up, I discovered something very interesting just last night. I saw this Dune Imperium video thumbnail that had like 1,500 views on it, and it had a picture of Mr. Beast in the thumbnail. And I was like, why are you doing this? Like, why, are you just trying to get clickbait here? And I clicked on the video, and it turns out that Mr. Beast is a huge Dune Imperium fan, and he plays it all the time. And he reached out to this small YouTube channel that focuses on maybe just Dune Imperium, maybe all board games. And he got them to run a tournament, an invite-only tournament. I forget how many players were there, but he is so good at the game that he, after many rounds of the tournament, ended up at the top table, at the final 4 people playing Dune Imperium.
No shit.
I was just like, he plays it a lot apparently. It's like, what? This is crazy. It was so cool to find that, to figure out that he was interested in the game.
That's cool. All right, let's see here. See lists.
Anyone else find it interesting that GW is going for Bretonnians? I thought for sure we get Reichland. Why Reichland? Bretonnians have this whole fucking mythos about them because they were like one of the first armies to get axed off in like Fantasy Battle 8.5, like kind of like Tomb Kings, you know. And so everyone's clamoring for them because they got that.
I want my Tomb Kings back.
I know, I want my Tomb Kings back.
I mean, look at Dan's army. Dan's army is, I couldn't wait for them to give me back my Tomb Kings, so I made Tomb Kings in AOS.
Right. And so Bretonnians have a very similar vibe, and so that's kind of why I imagine they wanted to do that.
All right, let's see here. Yeah, that's the one. List 1. Golden Company swordsmen with Baylor Blacktide Commander in them.
Boo.
Silenced Men with Asha Carl combo. Drownmen, House Harlow Reapers with Dario.
What does Dario give?
He gives you Reckless Strikes, which is you get crit blow and precision, but anytime you roll a 1 on an attack dice, you take a wound. There's a hidden OP combo with Reapers, which is you go in, you make your attack, and then you die from making your attack from the ones that you roll, and then you make another attack on death. So you have 2 attacks on the person at the same time.
Oh, it's like a suicide.
It's dumb. It never happens. It's a meme.
Oh, because they have the thing where they get to make a full attack when they die.
Yeah, exactly. So you make your attack rolls and then die from your attack rolls, so you make another attack.
So the question is, wouldn't it be better just to have another Silenced Men unit instead of Dario in Reapers?
I would think so, but maybe they're sharing these abilities with Baylor's card, because doesn't he have coordination tactics?
No, that's the only commander I've never taken.
Oh yeah, no, that's the other guy. Yeah,
Fuck,
he's
that guy's-
got
I can't
Black Tide
remember.
Resentment, Lash Out, and stuff. Yeah,
I like Baylor a lot. He's a great hybrid commander.
okay. Other list is Asha Commander in Silenced Men with Carl, Golden Company Crossbowmen with Braun, House Harlow Reapers with Baylor Black Tide Detachment, Drownmen, Roderick Peter Balon. So pretty similar.
Okay.
There you go.
A lot of people run Carl with Asha, obviously, because you are allowed to do that. I guess I undervalue attachments. Because I don't see a reason why they need Carl in that unit. You're not trying to trigger morale, getting an easy...
Yeah, but pushing through an extra wound is an extra wound.
Is that all it is? Is that really what it is?
Yeah, cool.
Is that worth
Expert
it?
Duelist now is on a 5-up. You destroy the attachment, so you never take that option, basically.
So that's why spend a point on an auto wound every turn? Is that really worth it?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I would much rather have the Reapers upgraded to Silenced Men or Iron Makers.
Yeah, put Dario in a unit of fucking Silenced Men, bro. Crit blow, Giga Sundering, precision.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want him to die, really. I would never use Dario, not because he's a neutral. I just don't see the synergy. I kind of see it with the other guys. All right, we'll be done. Got to paint the scale mail on this dude, his weapons, and most notably his face and hair. But we got through a decent amount of the model, and part of that was just deciding to paint the same color on large pieces of fabric across the mini, and it was pretty simple. To kind of review the technique we were using here, just not using any transitional layers, but instead using a thinned down version of the layer to build up highlights. I think it worked. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of the brown leather color I chose to do, just because it's
very saturated.
very saturated. It's sticking out like a sore thumb at the extremities of the model. But that's just kind of one of those things that you don't know how it's going to work out when you try something new. I don't know what this thinned down brown is going to look like on top of dark blue, and it kind of looks. Maybe I should thin it more, maybe. Doesn't look terrible. It's not like I'm going to repaint it or anything like that. But yeah, good stream. Good conversation, y'all. Rocking the chimney hat. Yeah, dude, the teeny weeny beanie, bro. It took me so long to find a hat like this that I could wear that didn't cover my ears, but it was just like a little baby beanie.
I just can't stand wearing a beanie and not having my ears covered, and that's a problem for normal beanies because I got a big old head.
I can't stand the opposite of that. I hate when my ears are covered.
Disgusting.
Makes my ears so warm. Scott, the Leon professional cosplay for Halloween. Complete with my own. No, I'm not even gonna say it. Watch Leon the Professional. Maybe you'll get the joke.
That movie is kind of creepy.
It's kind of weird, yeah.
Particularly once you know about the cut content and stuff.
Oh, I don't know about that.
We'll talk about it when we're not live.
Okay. All right, y'all. Thank you for the subs. Thank you for the donation, Mr. Ash, if you're still here. Thank you for spending your bits on fun voice chat lines, any kind of support, any kind of interaction in the stream. It means a lot to me. It helps the stream, helps show Twitch that people are engaging and interested in this stream. So I really appreciate all of it. Thank you so much. I mean, if Scott covered his ears, what would we see when trying to look at the painted model? Yeah, that would widen my head by a solid inch and then block all the painting.
On the other hand, it might hold your ears in.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe the thing is I got fucking
You gotta
alfalfa.
tape your ears to the side of your head.
Yeah, I got alfalfa ears or whatever. They're
Yeah.
sticking out. Adam Driver ears. You ever seen the military picture of Adam Driver when he's like a fresh Marine Corps?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got fucking. They're big.
I just signed up for the Marine Corps.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll catch you not this Thursday for a gaming stream, but next Tuesday for a painting stream, and then that
On
Thursday.
Halloween.
On Halloween.
Tune in for the Halloween special.
Yes, come for the Halloween special where I paint Euron Greyjoy. He's got a patch. Ooh. We'll see what we do.
You gonna paint wearing an eye patch?
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. Get Schaefer on. That'd be cool. He's probably working during the day, so he might not be able to get.
Imagine having a real job.
I know, right? Baking stream or baking scream. Oh, I like that. All right, guys. We'll catch you next Tuesday for whatever it is we're going to be doing. Should we raid somebody?
Yeah, I was about to say, don't we normally raid people? Isn't that a thing that we do?
We do normally raid people.
Who's live?
Elfo ears. See him alive. Raid Monument. Oh, man.
Ooh, Penny Arcade's painting today.
Penny Arcade? Sure. Have we hosted them in a while?
It's been months and months.
Let's do Penny Arcade because it's been a while.
They say that they're painting. That's good enough for me.
All right. We're going to send you over to Penny Arcade because they've been into the hobby lately doing game streams and painting streams. Enjoy that. They're painting Battletech? Oh, boy. All right. Well, that's definitely something you'll never get from me.
I wasn't going to say anything, so that way Scott wouldn't know. But it's too late now.
All right, guys. See you next week when we paint something for Halloween. Until then, peace. See ya.